It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring
with Fillmore's finest, Bonta here. The pride of the Excelsior, Joe Butcher Boy Shasky.
Take him out.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, the morning roast.
Oh, baby, what a special day on the roast of Friday, a football Friday. And it's a payday Friday as well here on the morning roast on 95.7 The Game. Good morning, everybody out there getting off their graveyard shifts. Good morning to all the engineers, longshoremen, teachers, students, cops, you name it. Spadoni, Lubman, and you, Joe Shasky. We have a special guest in the building, our favorite, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. You know him from Baldy's Breakdowns at Baldy NFL. It's Brian Baldinger. He's here for all 3 hours, and he's taking over the Bay this weekend. What up, Baldy?
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Woo, man. It's good to be with you. I mean, being from NFL Films on, Tuesdays when I join you guys is one thing. But being live here, I see you guys are on YouTube. You can find us anywhere. I got a buddy from Jersey calling, like, how do I listen to the show? It's just great to see you guys, man.
YouTube, Twitch, Xfinity Mobile text line. We're going to ask Baldy anything. We have plenty of questions, a plethora of questions for Baldy today. Talking all football, talking anything.
I know.
Anything.
I knew my day was going to go well. I went Starbucks traveling, Bonta, this morning to try to get some coffee, and I was trying to get food. I was going to get donuts. Everything was closed. And so I was running late, but I knew the day would turn around because as I'm coming into the studio, I've got my key card in my mouth. I've been carrying all this stuff. I see Baldy with our boss, and it looked like, what's that movie with Danny DeVito and
Twins?
Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
Giant human
Hey, Matt,
being.
that's not a compliment out there.
God bless Matt Hegan. He looks so little compared to Baldy, and I said, this day can't get any better.
Twins.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito. He's got better hair, though. At least Matt Hegan's got his hair. He's got his box cut. He's got his box cut rolling.
That never changes.
No, that never changes, man. He's got the box cut.
He might be 100 pounds overweight, but he got the box
He's
cut,
got
man.
the box cut.
You
As
said
long as
it,
the
not me.
lining's there, it's all good. Once you start receding, it's all bad, especially if you're short. But look, we're going to talk a lot of football here. We got to line them up, 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. We're going to break down Brock Purdy, the Niners, but I do want to ask him about, he's going to break down the Raiders a little bit later, so I won't grill him on that.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield's finest moment in the NFL.
Let's put that, for 1 second, put that on pause. I want to start with some fun. I want to have a recurring theme. One of our favorite things on the show, we love music, okay?
Yep.
Bonta is a hip-hop aficionado. I have a more diverse portfolio. Baldy,
I don't.
I know. Well, no, Baldy, I think you've got great taste. I think
Okay.
you've got great taste
Yeah.
because you're kind of a taste maker, if you ask me. I want to start here. Baldy, what are the 5, 6, 7 bands or artists that you would say are your favorite ones in terms of music?
Well, look, I probably have been to 150 Springsteen shows around the world. Okay, so I lived in Europe. Springsteen being in Europe, I'd get the pass. I could go anywhere.
Okay.
Because what happened with the Springsteen band, they started getting old, so they would just give me like a tour pass, and they'd go, "You go out and you have you take your boys out, have some fun in Stockholm, wherever we were at." Then come back and entertain us with the stories because we can't do that anymore. So I'm in Milan, wherever. And so anyways, we had a lot of fun for a lot of tours, but it starts with Springsteen.
So Springsteen?
U2. U2, best show I ever saw was in Dusseldorf, Germany with U2.
Dusseldorf.
I like
sure,
Van Morrison.
Van Morrison, okay.
Yeah, I like Van
My
Morrison.
brother would love that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I could keep going on and on
just
and on.
give me like 5 or 6.
Stones,
Okay,
obviously.
love the Stones. Yeah.
Stones.
Little tongue out.
Yeah.
Now, Baldy, you don't pay for any concerts. You've
No.
let that be known. And so there's a concert, not necessarily a concert, but a comedy show. Sunday, it's Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle at Chase Center. And you're going to be calling Bucks and Niners Sunday down at Santa Clara. And that show starts around 8 o'clock. So I'm figuring we could all tag along with you and try to sneak into Chase Center to go see Chappelle and Chris Rock. I don't know how that's going to work, but I figure you find a way. There's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. Yeah, I know people, in that industry, not the comedy club, but the concert venue industry. So there's some phone calls that I can make. And if you need an escape out of there, we can figure out the escape.
One of the first questions, real quick,
Yeah, let's get 'em
since
on.
we're going to have some fun here.
Yes.
510, Xfinity Mobile text line.
it to me.
Good morning, guys. Welcome, Baldy. Do you play fantasy football?
do you?
And what's your team name? That's from our boy Oreo Cookie.
I don't play. I did play once.
Okay.
It was the year that Tom Brady got hurt in the first quarter against the Chiefs.
No way.
Brett
And
Baldinger.
Brady was my quarterback.
Who was in your league? That's what I want to know because Baldy, we were doing a game. I was thinking, who is in this man's Rolodex? Like in your contact list for
Well,
phone?
back then I was doing games at Fox, Joe. So I mean, it was the Fox.
Okay.
You know,
So it's
all the
Bradshaw.
analysts. Yeah, Bradshaw was probably in it. You know,
JB.
Howie Long, Kurt Menefee.
There's no way you guys got Madden in that fantasy league.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Who won?
I don't even know because once Brady got hurt, I was like, well, what do you
You're
do?
done.
I'm counting on 40 touchdown passes.
Matt Castle,
Like, I
you didn't
lost
pick up-
interest.
You didn't
No,
pick up
I
Matt Castle.
Yeah, it's a good call. I don't think I did pick up Matt Castle.
Baldy, just to give you an idea, right now I have Aaron Rodgers this year. Like he fell to like the 10th, 11th round. I was like, oh, I'll swoop him up. It's been a disastrous
Yeah.
year. It's the first time I'm not going to make the playoffs.
Except when he throws to Watson.
What is going on with Aaron Rodgers this year? Is it the roster? Is it him? Is it a combination of that and play calling? Like, why is he so bad?
Well, I think for when they lost games early on, like to the Jets and to the Giants, like they could not complete a deep ball.
Gotcha.
There was none, and that was Devontae's act forever.
Yeah.
And they couldn't finish drives, and that was Devontae's act. So they had Romeo Dobbs, and they had different guys that were stepping in, but they just weren't productive. Now Christian Watson's come on big time over the last month, but that was it. And then the defense could be the league's worst.
Really?
Like, when the Eagles run for 363
Yeah,
yards and run the same play at you, and they have no idea how to fix it. Like their defensive front is really, really poor, but their tackling is poor. Like, it's just a mess on that side of the ball.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, because we're both fantasy football nuts, and I'm in 4 leagues, Baldy, and that's low for
This
me.
guy's out of
That's
his
low.
mind.
I can't help it.
Really?
I love football. It's too much. I know. Everybody's like, they send me an invite, and I'm like, you know what? It feels like
Let
money
me
on the
ask you this,
table.
Bonta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because my mother plays, right? So my mom's winning her league. She's 89.
I
Right?
love this.
So my
It's like my
mother
grandpa.
tells me that she wakes up in the middle of the night now, and she's got her tablet there, and she's trying to find a backup running back.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's trying to
That's
find.
it. She's
you
addicted.
got
Like
deep
that.
dive.
89.
Yeah, that's
Can she
good.
just-
Debt charts.
Bonta, can
Yeah.
she just get a good night's sleep?
I'm up early trying to find a different. You can look at our lads on
Yeah.
the depth chart, and I'm thinking, okay, Josh Jacobs has a broken finger. I need to go look at Zamir White or something.
Yeah.
Do I
Gotta
roll
hit
the
that
dice on
waiver
Zamir
wire.
White?
Yeah,
But
James
one
Cook.
quarterback, James Cook, right? But I'm in 4 leagues, right? 3 of them are making the playoffs. I
Okay.
feel real good about it. The one league that I got to win to get in, I had to start Derek Carr last night. I shared this team with my buddy who's a Raider fan. He's a Raider fan. He goes, I'm like, Trevor Lawrence, and look, we pick him between Trevor Lawrence and Derek Carr. I'm like, dude, let's just start Trevor Lawrence. He can run a little bit. He's going to get us rushing yards. I don't know about Carr. We start Derek Carr last night, and it's just been an underwhelming season, and he has Devontae Adams. What's going on with Derek Carr? Because Raider fans
And
are
Josh
blowing me up.
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is having a phenomenal
A
season.
monster. Well, on pace like
So
400 carries.
Well, he's the most yards by a Raider runner ever. 1,400 yards right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, check that
Marcus
out.
and Bo?
Check
No,
that
he
out.
has. Yeah,
Check
yeah.
that
No,
out.
last night he was like at 1390, I believe.
Spadoni said,
He finished
yeah.
with 1402.
Yep.
Wow.
He's at 1402 right now, which I think is the most in Raider history.
That's
I think.
incredible.
Now, I don't.
Yeah.
Like I know the stat people out there would tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
If I'm wrong, that's fine. But I think it is. But like Devontae's on pace to have as good a year as he's ever had until last night. And I'm watching it. I'm going, okay, I know Jalen's on him, but that's where you need a coach. That's where you need like these man beaters. You need some picks. You need Steph Curry coming off a double screen. Like where are they? Like he can't just do it all by himself with his releases, route running. I mean, he made 2 phenomenal catches last night, but like Devontae needed to be targeted 12 times in that game.
12
Easy.
times.
No, but like I had Renfro in fantasy, and like Renfro MIA. I don't know if he's been hurt. I know he's hurt now, but like,
hurt.
it's just. Is it McDaniels? Is it Carr?
Well,
What
Waller's
is
but
it?
hurt too. Waller's had
Yeah,
the
but
injury.
he wasn't doing anything when he was there.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Honestly, I just like remember when they got shut out by the Saints?
Yeah,
they got shut out.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, well aware.
And I'm watching the game. They had Alante Taylor, this rookie corner, on him. Nice player, really good player from Tennessee. Like you acted like he was honestly like Dion out there. Like they didn't even look at Devontae in that game. He caught 1 pass for 5 yards. So I'm going like, where is the movement? When he was in Green Bay, I mean, everything was built around Devontae. And it should. Like, he'd be in the slot. He'd be in motion. He'd be in double motion, back and forth. They had screens for him. They had him in the backfield, coming out of the backfield. All the things that you see with Justin Jefferson
Right.
now.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
they don't do that. And so the offense just looks old to me. It looks old, and it looks stale. Now, I know they were on a 3-game win streak. They won 2 overtime games, and they won big, before last night's game. And Josh was a big part of it, and that's good. The running game was good. The offense line came along. But this is as good a receiver we've ever seen in this business. What he can do to people, but he needs some help.
And they've had two of the worst losses, I think, this season. One to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. You lose that game at home.
Yes.
And then you lose yesterday with Baker basically having 48 hours to study the playbook.
The way a defense should look at that game last night, and I don't care if you're Max Crosby or whoever, Chandler Jones, pick a guy. Like you're saying to yourself, as soon as he comes in the game, he ain't beating us.
Yep.
Like when I was on teams that were like I played with the Eagles with Reggie White and these guys, like their attitude was that guy's not beating us. We're going to put him in a body bag. Like that's how they thought. Like there's no way this guy's going to beat us.
On the Baker thing for just a second, like I always remember when Josh Freeman got swooped up in the middle of the week, and the poor guy had to go out there, and it looked like a nightmare. I mean, he was just overwhelmed. How did Baker do that last night? Baldy, like for the casual football fan, I don't think we can understand how much got thrown at him in a 48-hour span. How much did he already know? Like that seemed ridiculously difficult last night.
It did, and I was amazed because even when they were struggling and they had 3 points up until the 2 fourth quarter touchdowns, he still completed passes though.
Right,
and some of them were timing. Just the way Brock Purdy did, last week to Christian McCaffrey, which are difficult. You don't really know which way his guy's going to break. So I'm sure that even Ben Skoranek, like he probably didn't know how to pronounce his last name, and he's throwing these passes to him last night. But the first thing a quarterback does when they come in is you learn the protections. So you sit down with McVay and the staff, and okay, this is the protect. You're on a plane. They've already got you the playbook uploaded to your tablet, right? So you're watching it on the plane. Coming from Charlotte, wherever he's coming from. And so he's got 5 hours, and he's a quarterback nerd. He walked on at Texas Tech. He walked on at Oklahoma. He started day one, well, not day one, but like third game against Cleveland. So he knows concepts, he knows plays. The big thing is protections, how they protect me. If they overload this way, if they're in the A gaps, like what are we doing? How are we squeezing? Are they blocking inside out? Like so, he gets that down.
Yeah.
So he has an idea of that. Then McVay's in his ear. So he's one nerd talking to another nerd. So he's got the plays on his wrist. He's like play number 1.
Yeah.
So it could be power 49, Nero, pinch, quarterback pass, X, whatever. Okay, whatever it is. And so, but then Sean is in his ear tagging him, going, okay, if the front side is shut down, you got this on the backside. So he's tagging it like that. So Baker understands that, and it might get a little wordy, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows what he's saying and where the ball should be going.
I think Baker won a lot of fans over yesterday with that performance.
Me?
One of the more impressive things I've seen on the football field in a long, long time, because you look at the Raiders' defense. Chandler Jones coming off a 3-sack game, and then Max Crosby, who I want to get into with you because we're discussing him before the show. A lot of Raider fans believe Max could be DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. And I watched him, probably last night was the first time I really, really watched him. I was like, damn, he's good against the run. He might be better against the run
Nobody's better against the run. Nobody. In the whole league. Nobody's better against the run than Max. We can get into it. But the thing is, like, if you look at Sean McVay, you think about it, okay, he had Jared Goff, the number 1 pick, overall pick, and he struggled under Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
He comes in, he takes him to a Super Bowl.
He looked way better.
Matt Stafford was in Detroit for a dozen years. We never thought Matt Stafford was a gamer.
Yeah.
We never thought that because we never saw it.
Yeah.
Horrible organization, changes. He comes here, wins the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, what's he like? They ran him out of Cleveland. He couldn't sustain a job in Charlotte and with Carolina, and here he is, and he's going to be their starting quarterback. And you go, maybe you just need a really great coach and system with a talented player. And maybe that's what it exposes, is all these other people out there that just don't understand like how to put concepts together and make this guy better.
So is that what it is with McVay? Because obviously the charisma, it pops off the screen. Everyone can see the charisma, and there's more to his skill set. I feel like we overrate the charisma and maybe underrate the play calling. What is he doing schematically to help these guys? Because Goff, you're right. I mean, we watched him with Fisher. He was terrible.
Terrible.
Todd Gurley, we knew there was talent, but we couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden, boom, MVP. Like, what is it about McVay and him utilizing talent?
I think he has an unbelievable eye for what's happening in a game. If you ever watch Sean during a game, Kyle's the same way. But they're 20 yards behind the offense, and they're looking at it from the end zone. From like 10,000 feet.
Okay.
So whether it's corners are inside shaded, where the safeties are, the rotation, like he just has a feel and then an anticipation of what the defense is doing just from a week of study and the ability to compile massive amounts of information and just be able to see it clearly from that position that he stands at. And so he has a very, very clear picture of what the defense is doing. Once you get that, then you can start to really counter what the defense is doing. And very few people can see the game like that.
Looking at the Rams just overall, because obviously we pay a lot of attention to them in the NFC West, play the Niners obviously twice a year. Jalen Ramsey, look, I love the matchup between him and Devontae Adams. Devontae, as you mentioned, made some great catches against him. Is Ramsey, a lot of people believe that Ramsey is taking a step back as a corner. What have you seen on film? Because you know it better than all of us when it comes to Jalen Ramsey.
So I'm a Jalen Ramsey fan. I know DK Metcalf beat him for a touchdown to win the game last week. I don't know what Taylor Rapp is doing. Like you can say, okay, Jalen, you take DK, no help. Well, why? I mean, you got guys guarding grass.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you help? Like, he's got inside, he allows the inside release, and Jalen's right there. Like, he's just a Superman flying over the top. He's 6'3", he's long. He can jump to the moon. He was a phenomenal decathlete. He could have gone to the Olympics in the long jump, like all these skills. Here's the thing about Jalen. If he doesn't have Devontae, if he doesn't have DK, where he can try to do his best to lock him up, he's like that right fielder in a T-ball game. Like, he just gets bored.
Yeah.
If he's not getting action, he gets bored. Mm-hmm. And he I don't know if he's got a hole in his glove, to use a baseball reference. The guy seemingly can't catch. Like, the guy makes, like, he never puts up numbers.
That's
for
called the
interception.
Glenn Allen Hill. Glenn Allen Hill used to have a hole in the glove.
Yeah.
He'd look at the glove. My dad goes, it's not the glove's fault. It's you. Catch the rock.
He dropped 2 picks in that Niners game, Jalen Ramsey. It could have been game changers.
He just, I don't know what it is. If his eyes get too big, if he panics in a moment, he's so hungry for him.
Yeah.
Like, he wants him too hard. And if you talk to guys that have great numbers of interceptions, like Kevin Byard, I was talking to him last week, the safety in Tennessee.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a single interception this year. He had 25 coming into the season.
That's crazy.
And I told him, I said, you know they come in bunches, Kevin. Like, it's going to come, but you can't force it.
Yeah.
If you force it, then you're going to be out of position. You're going to make mistakes.
Right.
You have to play the game. You got to play in phase. You got to play in phase. Like, to play out of phase, like, nobody's going to benefit by that.
Man, I was going to say, off the top of my head, I think there's a guy, Krause, who is
Paul Krause.
Yes.
Yeah, Minnesota
81
safety.
interceptions.
Is it in the 80s?
I think it is. I'm going to look it up. I think it is. I know Ronnie got to 60-something. Ronnie Lott did.
Rod Wilson's up there, right?
Ed Reed's in the 60s.
Reed, yep.
I just saw Everson Walls at a Cowboys reunion.
Oh, yeah.
He's got
Walls.
57, and it pisses me off he's not in the Hall of Fame. And if you count the postseason, which I do, he's got 61.
Did Everson Walls end up playing for the New York Giants?
Yes.
Here we
Won a
go.
Super Bowl with the New York
He's
Giants.
on that 89 team. That
Bonta.
one
Yes, 86. No, 90, the 90 team.
The Bills, yeah.
91 in Tampa.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Here are your top 10 all time.
Yeah,
We'll go
he's a
down
good
from
player.
10.
Okay.
Dick LeBeau, Dave Brown have 62. Darren Sharper, Ronnie Lott,
Yep.
63.
Yep.
Ed Reed, 64 at 7. Ken Riley and Charles Woodson, 65 at 5. Dick Night Train Lane
Yep.
from the Detroit Lions at number 4 with 68. Rod Woodson, Bonte's boy, at 71.
Really good player.
Emlyn Tunnel, I don't know that name,
Yep.
79. And then Paul Krause at 81.
There you go.
all
Nice
time.
call. Yeah.
You
Free
like
safety
that,
for the
huh?
Vikings. I used to work for the Vikings when I was a kid. So I sold
Really?
I sold pops.
Really?
I sold pops at the stadium.
At the old Met?
At the old Met, yeah.
They need to go outdoors, Baldy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
that. Like those Midwest teams, those East
Not
Coast
just that,
teams.
they were outdoors at the Met, and both teams were on the same sideline.
Yes,
What?
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, both
Yep.
teams were on
I
the
didn't
same
know that.
sideline.
You see
because of the
old
way
Bill-
the stadium was cut.
You know the Green Bay Stadium, they used to
Yes,
play at the
in
Brewers Stadium in
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. They used to
Same
be on the same
stadium.
sideline.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
That's incredible. We got Baldy in
Oh, this is
all
great.
day long. 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. We'll read your text on the Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube, and Twitch as well. Ask Baldy anything. He's here all morning long. It's going to be a lot of fun here on the roast today on a Payday Friday / Football Friday, and that's brought to you by Go to State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoToStateLumber.com. And Football Friday, sponsored by the Jim Irsay Collection at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium on December 10th. For free tickets, visit JimIrsayCollection.com.
It's a matchup of two titans. Tom Brady.
Brady, end zone. Godwin, touchdown!
Brock Purdy.
Purdy looks to throw. Juszczyk, touchdown, San Francisco.
And our pregame coverage starts at 11:30 with the kickoff show right here on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, Baldy, have you ever wondered what's on Christian McCaffrey's holiday wish list? You are not alone. Our new favorite brand here at 95.7 The Game, Flag and Anthem, they've got the answers. They sat down with the Bay Area's very own to curate the perfect list of classic and versatile looks for every guy on your list, including you or Baldy. From insanely soft flannels and comfortable hoodies to shirt jackets that Sam Lubman's wearing right now, the jeans that I've got on, and so much more. There's even something for the hardest person to shop for. Somebody like Bonta, for example. So head over to flagandanthem.com today and shop CMC's holiday gear and use the one-time code GAME, G-A-M-E, to get 25% off your order. Flag and Anthem, premium clothes without the premium price tag.
If you're considering remodeling your home in 2023, talk with your architect or designer about utilizing Golden State Window and Door for your upcoming project. Each location across the Bay Area features beautifully planned displays. You'll be surprised by the variety of styles. Their respected partners include Anderson, Milgard, Marvin, and many other top brands. For locations, images, and more, visit goldenstatelumber.com. Since 1954, Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Someday, you might be with friends in the Bay Area, telling the story of how you navigated these complex times. The market was all over the place, so you reached out to a Merrill advisor, and with their help, charged ahead. And unlike your fishing stories, you won't have to go overboard. Find an advisor at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where they'll break down all the headlines in the NFL. Brought to you by Hyundai. There's never been a better time to get away with a great deal on a new Hyundai at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Seven Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum 2022 tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2022.
Looking for a holiday dining experience to remember? Look no further. Avicii, San Francisco's newest culinary adventure, is now open at 680 Folsom Street in San Francisco. Enjoy handmade pastas, house-made charcuterie, and a multi-course menu showcasing both Italian and French flavors for an unparalleled culinary experience this holiday season. Whether you choose Avicii for a special occasion or a culinary adventure, you're sure to be wowed. Visit our website at AviciiSF.com to book your reservation today. That's AFICISF.com.
This holiday season, tee it up at the Golf Mart for the hottest gifts from TaylorMade and Bushnell. Featuring the TaylorMade Stealth Carbon Woods with 60 layers of carbon for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen TP5 golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 Shift rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at the Golf Mart, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Help San Francisco's under-resourced high school girls of color envision, rise, and create with Oasis for Girls. Oasis for Girls provides intensive after-school programming that helps connect girls to internships, resources, and job opportunities. At Oasis for Girls, they equip students with the skills and mindset required to do the work. Your support this holiday season helps San Francisco girls cultivate the skills, knowledge, and confidence to discover their dreams and build strong futures. Please donate today at oasisforgirls.org.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Where do holiday happenings take over every aisle? Lowe's, actually. Right now, you'll save big on everything you need for the holiday season. Get up to 50% off select pre-lit Christmas trees and holiday living LED string lights. Plus, save on your gift list with up to 50% off select tools and accessories. The holidays are here, and so are the savings. Only at Lowe's. Offers valid through 12/14. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Bonta, put the headphones on.
You.
Don't tell him, Baldy.
Who's this, the Stones?
Oh, you got 3 guesses. 1 wrong. This is not the Stones.
That's got to be you two.
Oh, my God. Really?
Van Halen.
Baldy, you want to tell him who it is?
Who's my favorite band?
Springsteen?
Springsteen.
I thought that was one person. Not a band.
It's a band.
It's a band.
The E Street Band.
Bruce Springsteen's
the
a band.
E Street Band.
See, I thought that was one person.
What's his
the
first
greatest
name?
sax player of all time.
Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Bruce.
Bruce.
Come on, Pete.
They just call him the boss.
Let's call him the boss. I
They
knew
call him
that.
the boss.
They call him
Bonta,
the boss.
Silvio from Sopranos is in the band.
Thank you.
Is he really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Even though he's
Yeah.
on life support in the final episode.
Stevie Van Zandt.
I learn something new every day, Baldy.
He was so ticked when he
Every
didn't
day.
get whatever they give awards for TV shows.
And he
Whatever.
should have got
Yeah,
it.
he should have got it. He was
That
ticked
hair
off,
was freaking incredible.
It's tough, man.
He became a bigger star than Bruce when he was on
That is
Sopranos.
true. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
By the way, The Sopranos, I'm still disappointed in the last 2 seasons. Still disappointed.
Wait,
Not
time
right.
out. When Chris gets murfed by
What was that,
Tony,
season 3, right?
That's the end when he plugs
That's
the
season
nose.
3.
That's one of the great moments in
It was great.
television
You had
history.
a few good moments, man. I don't know.
Some characters will just live on.
Yes.
They will.
You know, they'll just
Paulie.
live in perpetuity. It's a show. The characters were what it was unreal.
Yeah, no,
Paulie
it was
Walnuts,
unreal.
the
Paulie
best.
was sick. Paulie was next level. As we have Baldy in studio all day long, all morning long, I should say. He's going to break down film afterwards. This segment is brought to you by Golden State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. And Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises. Now, Baldy, you played all sports growing up. We know that. Duke University, you're out there in New York. And Steph Curry yesterday was naming his all-time starting 5.
Okay.
He said he had to be in it.
Yep.
And he said it was Magic Johnson, Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, and Shaquille O'Neal. Alongside himself. That's a damn good
That's a
starting
pretty
5.
good one.
You have shooting, you have power, you got
Passing.
speed, passing. You got a little bit of everything.
And all like that generation too. Like
Yep.
he's not going to Bill Russell.
No.
and,
No.
You know,
Green.
that's, so I understand that though. I mean that's because you can have. I could put Wilt Chamberlain in there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean we could go.
So what's
on and-
yours?
So what's your starting 5?
Well, I mean, I grew up in that era though. Like Wilt was the most dominant player
Okay.
that I ever saw. You know, and so I would say that. But you know, you got to put Jordan in there. You know,
Bird?
I put Steph because that's the greatest shooter I've ever seen. I got to go Magic because that's the best point guard we've ever seen. And then you know, for my power forward, I got to go Larry Bird.
That's
I like
not bad.
that. I
That's
like
not
that.
bad. What about you, B?
And because I need a trash talker on my
Yes,
5.
yes.
I need somebody
Right.
that's just going to light you up every night.
You know, Larry Bird is aging so well for me. Every time I look at highlights and I look at his
Agreed.
numbers, I'm thinking, man, this is one bad dude. He's one bad dude. So I would go Bird. I would go Curry. I have to go Jordan.
Yeah.
At center, I would go Hakeem Olajuwon. And
Okay.
at power forward, I'm going
Hakeem
Tim
the
Duncan.
Dream.
Hakeem the Dream, and I'm going Tim
He
Duncan.
lived on
at
the low
four.
post, man. Lived on the block.
I love it.
Hakeem was a great
Hakeem
player,
was
man.
great.
Those back-to-back Houston teams were unreal.
They really were.
Yeah, Clyde
Who you
Drexler.
got? Yeah, Drexler was great.
If I had to, I mean, Curry, Jordan, absolutely. I'm going Shaq. I just love Shaq. Shaq's
I love
my guy.
Shaq, too.
Yeah.
I love Shaq. Like for me, I personally love Shaq. Okay, so I'm gonna throw him in there, and then your forward. I gotta go Larry Bird here. Like to me, because he could pass, he could shoot, he could defend, he could do so many different things. And then my 5th guy, This is a tough one.
See, Curry threw a curve when he went Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, that's a curve.
Yes.
Right there.
Yep.
So nobody would put Dirk in there. But when Steph says it, then your eyes start going, wait a second.
Well, and that's where, for my dad's age, I want to go Dr. J. Just for my dad. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Dr. J, Rick Barry, those are my dad's guys. But I think I'm going to go Twin Towers and go Wilt.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, when you average 50 and 25 for a season?
Yeah, averaging over 48 minutes a game.
Come on.
But Wilt, so many of the highlights, when Wilt scored 100.
With no LeBron.
There's that game was in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So, they used to barnstorm back then. They used to play double headers. I went to the Sixers when I was a kid. 67, Dr. Jack Ramsey was the coach.
Yeah.
And the Sixer team was, Billy Cunningham and Wally Jones and Hal Greer and Wilt and Chet Walker. You could just, you know all those names, right, Joe? So, if they could play a doubleheader one night. Imagine that. That's like the Globetrotters.
I love that.
That's insane. That's insane. We got a question on YouTube. San Jose Jazz fan 1. Baldy, can you imagine walking into a head coaching job like Jeff Saturday? Coming straight out of high school.
It's incredible.
20 and 16. You go out there in your first game. And for the most part, they've been competitive. I know things got away from them in the fourth quarter against Dallas. But there was a 21-13 game going into the fourth quarter. They played the Eagles tough. They beat the Raiders. Could you walk into a situation like that?
No, I couldn't. When that happened, I put myself in Jeff's shoes. Mm-hmm. And I go, okay, I know Jim Irsay. I don't know him the way probably Jeff does now. Obviously they have a great relationship. And he consulting with the team. And so you need an owner that's kind of out there, and Jim's out there, to make that kind. But I was like, if he made the call to me, I would decline it. I would say, because I don't feel like I could come in there and connect with all the people we got to connect with just to get through a game. You got so what I heard Jeff did, which was really smart. I wouldn't have probably thought of this, but he literally brought in every single player into his office, one-on-one. Just said, this is what I want. This is what I know about you. This is why I'm here. This is why I took the job. And just explained himself one-on-one to everybody. Stephon.
That's pretty smart.
Gilmore, Forrest Buckner, all, Quentin Nelson. So he did that with all the players, which I think was really smart. So they could get to know him, right? So he's just not standing up there as a figurehead in front of the room.
Yeah.
And people are like, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
These guys don't know Jeff Saturday. But I just don't think that I could do all the things that you got to do and be good and be really competent.
What did you think about because I get both sides of it. The Indianapolis Colts don't want to elevate someone from their staff for whatever reason. They're not that they're trying to lose out, but it felt like a win-win for them, I guess, essentially, by not elevating one of their guys. But I understand so many of the coaches around football being upset that he's jumped the line. Mm-hmm. But isn't the entry point in every position now? You can come from anywhere. So what's your thoughts on the outrage?
Look at John Lynch. Were people outraged when John Lynch got the GM job?
Steve Kerr.
Shocked us all.
Steve Kerr.
No doubt.
We've seen Mark Jackson go from playing to coaching, and he was a good player, good coach. I think you're going to see more of it. I just do. Really? I just think because leadership is everything.
Yeah.
And so if you have just a powerful presence about you, and you know how to delegate, okay, put the staff together. Because honestly, what is the head coach doing game day?
Well, it depends. If they're if they're a
Sean McVay's the play caller, that's a big deal.
But there are other guys that are CEO types.
Yes.
Right? Mike Tomlin to me is a CEO type. Am I wrong?
John Harbaugh,
absolutely.
I mean, John Harbaugh, you could say that about John. John was a special team coach for 10 years in Philly. Special teams coach of the year. And Brian Billick was the coach.
Yep.
And they had just given him a brand new contract in Baltimore. And, the owner at the time, Steve Bisciotti, was he was just tired of Brian, didn't think it was going in the right direction, paid him off, sent him away, no hard feelings, and he went with Harbaugh. He had guys on the staff that were qualified. Rex Ryan was on that staff. He was qualified. He went in a different route. He wanted a guy. He wanted a CEO. That's what he wanted. And so that's what John was. Special teams coaches, have ability to stand in a room and connect to all phases of the game.
Belichick was a special team coach.
Special teams coach. So some of those guys, have sort of a feel to be able to room with guys from every part of the team.
That Baltimore team that you're referencing with that Billick and they won the Super Bowl. I can't believe how many people from that staff became head coaches.
Yes.
Mike Nolan, Marvin Lewis, you referenced Rex Ryan.
Yeah. Jack Del Rio.
That might have been an all-time staff.
Yeah. Well, Brian, so here's what I know.
Mike Smith was on that staff
was
too?
Brad Childress on that?
Your coach at Stanford was on that staff. David Shaw was the wide receiver coach.
Brian Shaw.
So if you look at it, like Mike Singletary became on that staff.
Was he a position coach?
He was a linebacker coach at one time. So like Dennis Thurman, Dennis Thurman was on the staff, and then he's with Deion now. Like he's at Colorado right now with Deion.
What do you think about that?
I love it.
I kind of love it too.
I do too.
I love it. But that's what you're saying. So I'm saying like Deion. Deion's not going to sit there and draw up X's and O's.
No.
He wasn't an X and O guy when he played.
No.
Like, he was a talent guy. Like, just,
But he's really smart, though, isn't he?
Well, he's smart because, like, you have to get to know every single player on your team. You have to. Bill Parcells' strength. Know every single player so you knew what, because you got to treat them differently.
Right.
Not from a standpoint of rules or anything like that, but how to push the buttons. Mm-hmm. What buttons can I push to get this kid, like, unleash the power from within? Like, Deion's ability to motivate, to connect, to talk to his team, to tell them what they need every single week, to go out there for max performance. And just the simple rules of you're not putting a hat on inside the building.
Right.
Like just discipline. Like learn discipline so that it shows up on the field. So you're not undisciplined on the field. Like all those things, like there's no question that Deion will, he understands the NIL, which you have to. He understands recruiting. I'm sure some of those kids are going to come from Jackson.
He nailed that running back.
Yeah. So you watch the recruiting. Colorado has been so irrelevant for so long.
Since the fifth down play and Cordell Stewart and Westbrook.
Like, you think about that. I don't even know how long that is, Joe.
That was 1993?
They had 1 year they won the Big 12 championship. I remember they beat Texas. They had 1 year.
Was that Donald Strickland?
Donald Strickland. They went to the Fiesta Bowl, got blown out by Oregon.
Right.
1 year.
You're right.
So I remember I was doing games at Fox, college games in 2011. I'll never forget this. I did Oregon at Colorado. So you're in Boulder. It's the most people that go to school at Colorado, they never want to leave. It's like God's country, right? The mountains, the beauty, everything to do. So like they never want to leave that place. So I'm doing Oregon and Colorado. So I knew, like, I got to know Chip a little bit. I did an Oregon game before that. It was 35-0 in the first quarter.
Wow.
35-0 in the first quarter.
Wow.
The Buffalo never ran around the field.
Ralphie was on break.
He was all crowd up.
Ralphie didn't get no exercise that day. All right, more coming up with Baldy here on the Morning Roast with Shasky and Bonta. We'll be right back.
Get fast, reliable speeds at home and on the go with internet and mobile from Xfinity. Now through December 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus Xfi Complete with unlimited data and Wi-Fi equipment included. It's just $50 a month for 2 full years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Plus, get $200 back. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
2000, 2008, 2022. When it comes to the economy, those are some scary years. .com crash, housing crash, and the roller coaster we're going through right now. It's a dangerous time to not know your numbers. But over 31,000 businesses have the confidence and clarity they need because they rely on NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, improve margins. Everything you need all in one place. So, how do you prepare for uncertain times? The answer, NetSuite. NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your business processes, and easily see where to save money. That's why 93% of customers say they improved their visibility and control when they upgraded to NetSuite. What are you waiting for? NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Bring the family to Outdoor Supply Hardware's free Osh Kids event, Saturday, December 10th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at every store. Kids 12 and younger are invited to create a paintbrush Santa ornament using their imagination. And of course, a paintbrush, which Osh will supply. And while you're at Osh, be sure to round up your purchase total to support Osh's 3rd annual Sense of Purpose campaign. Every dollar donated stays in the community to support local children's hospitals. So stop by any of our 14 locations or visit us online at osh.com. Osh, neighbors helping neighbors.
Attention men, if you have ED, PE, or low libido, or if you're always tired, weak, and gaining weight, you could be suffering from low testosterone, a common condition in men over 40. Balanced Medical Solutions has helped thousands of men regain their vigor, stamina, and strength. Restore your performance in the gym and in the bedroom now. Receive a medical evaluation with blood tests and free follow-ups for only $99. Getting old is not a choice, but feeling old is. Call now, 510-679-3300, or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Thank you to all of the business owners who kept people employed during the pandemic. For all you've done, you may be eligible to claim the Employee Retention Tax Credit, a payroll tax refund from the United States Treasury Department, applicable to businesses who kept employees on payroll during the pandemic. The window is closing to claim your refund. Contact Paychex to see if you qualify. Paychex is proud to have helped more than 45,000 businesses secure over $9.2 billion in ERTC claims, an average of $190,000 per business. 50 years and thousands of experts in HR, payroll, benefits, and insurance. You may be eligible to claim the Employee Retention Tax Credit, a payroll tax refund from the United States Treasury Department, applicable to businesses who kept employees on payroll during the pandemic. The window is closing to claim your refund. Contact Paychex to see if you qualify. Visit paychex.com/ERTC to find out how Paychex can help you get additional cash into your business. Paychex.com/ERTC. Paychex.com/ERTC.
At Right Way Garage Doors, we consider what we do inspired craftsmanship. We see our craftsmen as artists using wood, glass, and metal as their brushes, your home as their canvas, their work inspired by the vision you have for your home's first impression. Right Way Garage Doors has been delivering the highest quality work with the right value and the right customer experience for 42 years. For a limited time, save up to $500 plus get no interest financing for up to 24 months. Call 877-DOOR-808 or visit rwgaragedoors.com.
When back to the office means back in traffic.
We unfortunately have a really bad situation going on in Hayward.
You can rely on your Northern California Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
Traffic is still jammed from Whipple, but I can see it starting to improve now that you have...
From your traffic leader, KCBS.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had two challenges: improve their brand presence and message, and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executed usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The result? An integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of 20%, and a long-term roadmap for success. If you love great steaks, go to KansasCitySteaks.com for website design, development, and online solutions that bring efficiency and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. If you need a results-driven website, call the team at AmericanEagle.com at 877-WebNow1. That's 877-WebNow1.
When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Morning Roast is live on YouTube right now. Take it away, Bonta.
All right, Bonta. Don't tell him, Baldy.
Damn, Baldy, what is this? It's a good tune.
No.
Is it in his top 5 bands?
Yes, he listed a bunch of bands.
Oh, so it's got to be U2. I always guess U2 first,
Do you even know
Baldy.
what country U2's from?
No, I don't. England, right? England? France?
I just have one question. Like, are you just playing ignorance?
Nah, man.
This
Baldy,
is real.
Dude, this is real, man.
Real.
This is real,
It's
dude.
the most famous rock and roll band of all time.
Thank you. Okay, they've got the tongue.
Oh, not Nirvana. It's what's the tongue? Damn
Mick
it,
Jagger?
what's the tongue? The Stones.
What's the beginning of it?
Stones, Rolling Stones.
Oh, there you go.
Rolling Stones, tongue.
There you go.
The Stones.
Wow.
Dude,
You
Baldy,
need that
you know,
many hints?
growing up, man, me and my
Nirvana.
buddies, if I played this stuff with my buddies, they would kick my ass. They should get the Tupac on. Get some Jay-Z
Time
on.
out.
Get
Where do
some
you
Run
think they're
DMC
sampling
on.
all the music?
I know where they're sampling
Dr.
it from.
Dre.
But didn't all like the beats come from rock and roll?
you.
A
Like, they
lot
don't
of-
use it in a lot of the rap songs.
I guess, but I never would go back and research that. I would think, you
Dr.
know,
Dre wasn't playing any Rolling Stones
yeah,
in
I thought
warm-ups.
he originated this stuff.
He was also playing G-Funk and a lot of George Clinton.
I'll say this, I would knock my head to it, be like, man, that's a crazy tune. What is
Yeah.
that? But Shazam came out about 20 years too late. Shazam would have helped me out,
Okay.
young Bonta, because I would do Shazam stuff. Now what I do is Shazam stuff, and it's alternative rock and roll, pop.
Name one alternative rock
I don't
song.
know, I gotta look at my phone.
But could you be listening to Biggie and then still like know who the Stones are? Like you couldn't do that?
Thank you. I
Couldn't
do.
do that. Yeah, I couldn't do that, man.
Okay.
Couldn't do that, man.
All right.
We could do that. What am I going to do, Baldy? Educate me, man.
Like, honestly,
we all have a flaw.
I'm as lost as you in your music as you are in my music. To be honest with you, I'm the worst.
All right, Baldy.
It's
Like
a
if it
flaw I
wasn't
don't
for
like.
it was like Sirius XM radio where they had the name of the song,
Yeah.
Right.
Like I wouldn't know.
That's okay. Look, my dad's a deadhead. My mom was big on Motown, so I grew up on
Yeah.
a lot of different diversity. Those are two
Right.
very distinctly
Yes.
different sounds,
They are.
and so it's okay. And I've also got the hip hop background. Baldy, I want to ask you this one: if I asked you to open your phone, looking at your contacts, because I know you've got contacts that go absolutely deep, I want you to go into the M, as in Mary, category. Who is the most famous person with an M, or random? You can go random as well in the M category that you have in your
I
contacts.
probably have Mad Max.
Crosby?
I put him in the M. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably
So you
Mad
just
Max.
text him?
Well, I watch his game film every week. He just wants to, what am I doing? What do you see? Like, and I post these videos. I mean, since day one, since his first game I ever saw him play against the Indianapolis Colts, his rookie year was his fourth game. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Fourth game his rookie year was against the Colts, and he forced a fumble down the field. And I'm like, who's this guy playing like stripping this ball down the field like this? And I fell in love with the guy. And ever since then, like, I've never seen a player emerge into the star that he is over the last 4 years.
Is that your DPOY right now?
Yes. Yes, because and like I know because of the way that he plays game. Nobody plays as many plays as he plays. Like there's games where he plays every single snap. Now I don't know if he played every one last night. I could check it out. Real
Look
quick.
like it.
But like he doesn't come off the field. So his energy level is from the first play of the game. Like last week against the Chargers, he gets the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands. Okay, on the first play of the game, he's so ticked that he forces a fumble. But because the ball was caught by recovered by Justin Herbert across the line of scrimmage, he wasn't credited with a sack. Like a defensive lineman gets the ball out of the quarterback's hands, that's a sack. I don't care what you are. But because the rule is if you recover it, if somebody else recovered it, it's a sack.
Yeah.
But if the quarterback recovers his own fumble, then it's not a sack. The rule makes no sense.
No sack.
And I'm not saying there's a million, but there's 10 rules like that make no sense. Like if you're a defensive lineman, you're Nick Bosa, and you're living for sacks and forced fumbles and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like when a quarterback is in the pocket and you're drilling him to the turf,
Yes.
and he dumps it late and it's intentional grounding, you don't get no credit for that.
So then what would your, like, because we need to start accumulating these in terms of statistics.
Because they're super important.
Yeah, so then what would you tell people that are, running the leagues and stuff? Like, what do you call that? You call it pressure or?
Well, you get a pressure, but like that's not really a stat that people go right to.
No.
They go to sacks and they go to fumbles.
So what to you is the most, if you were to create some sort of a statistic that would define what you believe to be
like last night,
bad news.
Havenstein, held Max on
Yes.
the third down.
Yes.
He doesn't get any credit for it.
No.
And, and they declined the penalty.
Yeah.
But he forced the hold.
Yes.
And then the Raiders declined the penalty.
Like a breakthrough.
And they punt. So there's no stat at all for Max on that. Nothing. Like, he's on his way to grabbing, the quarterback, right? Make Baker at the time. And he gets nothing for that play. Like, penalties forced should be a stat.
Well, somebody on the YouTube or the text line, Xfinity mobile text line brought something up like that wide receivers should get credit for pass interference yards.
Yes.
So like Devontae Adams getting dragged 30 yards down the field.
I think there's
2 yards. And I actually like that concept.
No, I think you're right about that. Because if you look at some of these games, like these pass interference penalties are the biggest plays in the game.
Yeah.
If you look at Brady's comeback, the pass interference penalty against Mike Evans in the end zone, they couldn't get the ball down the field all day. They were 0 for 5. I charted it. Any passes over 20 yards. So they're down 16-3, just like the Rams were last night. And so they go from literally 45 yards in a defensive pass interference penalty. They get the ball in the one, they score the next play. They can't win that game last week against the Saints if they don't get that penalty.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I think you're right about that.
No doubt. By the way, everybody's got their go-to meal at their favorite restaurant, so it's time we head back into their kitchen for episode 3 of The Go-To, presented by Trimark. Check out Rome Artisan Burgers at 957thegame.com. And speaking of 957thegame.com, Check us out on YouTube right now as you see 957 The Game shop.com, 957 The Game shop.com. Get our merchandise. We got some new Morning Roast merchandise. We got to hook our man Baldy up with it. Details at the 8 o'clock hour. I'm going to give out some gear next week for the Christmas holidays. Baldy, we got to get you a Morning Roast hoodie.
Yeah.
Got to get you something
I'll
here.
wear that.
Got to hook
For
you
sure.
up.
The people have been hitting up the text line, and they're asking Baldy. You can ask Baldy anything. You can text us. You can hashtag it, Ask Baldy anything on social media. They want to know, Derek Carr, do the Raiders, after a game like last night, just what they've been through, do they move off of him? Is he a good quarterback? There's like 5 questions in one, all wrapped around Derek Carr. Give me all your Derek Carr thoughts.
I mean, they should have won the game last night with better quarterback play. But I also think, what is Josh McDaniels doing?
Yeah.
Like, you've got the best, most artistic, best route runner, wide receiver in this league. Why does he have the same amount of catches for yards at halftime as he does at the end of the game?
It's embarrassing.
Now, is that Derek Carr or is that the offense? To me, I just don't see the design of the offense that can, you watch Cooper Kupp last year in all the different ways they freed him up.
Yeah.
The year that he had was as good as any receiver ever had. But that's Sean McVay creatively using Cooper Kupp and then building a trust with the quarterback. All that stuff happened.
Yeah.
You know, they can't win a Super Bowl without Cooper Kupp coming down the field. 4th and 1. You know, let's give them fly sweep, handoff. That's nothing they ever did all year long. But the things that I saw them do with Devontae in Green Bay, I just don't see right now. And to me, that's not Derek Carr. That's a function of the offense. But then you look at, the interceptions last night. You go, in a big spot, in a big game, does he win the game for you? Last year in the playoffs against Cincinnati, he's got a chance to win the game.
Right.
Is that just going to travel with him? It's 8 years now, I think.
Right.
So at some point, you just go, does he? Kurt Warner used to always tell me this. Does he have big play genes? I feel like some guys just love the moment, and they have those genes.
That it factor, Baldy.
And there's never 32 of them. When it was a 12-team league, there wasn't enough good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Right.
Montana, Young, obviously in San Francisco, they had it. Does Jimmy have it? You question
let me ask you, does Jimmy have it?
Well, you only look at 2 games, right? You look at the Rams game last year, winning in the fourth quarter, doesn't finish it out. Super Bowl game. You're up 10 points in the fourth quarter, you can't finish it out. Is that Kyle? Because that sort of has traveled with Kyle.
I felt like it was a little bit
quarterback?
both. Yeah.
Is that a little bit of both? Because so much of the quarterback success is tied to your play caller, whether it's the head coach or the offense coordinator. And they've got to be in lockstep. And you go, the great one, does Dak have it? You question, does he have it? I don't think he does. But you got to see it. You only can see it. They questioned Peyton if he had it until he started winning in the postseason.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the reality.
Derek Carr yesterday, back to him, he had a passer rating of 0 in the second half. Only other Raiders quarterbacks in the last 30 years to have a 0 passer rating in the second half was Jason Campbell back in 2010. This guy was what was he, 2 for 11 in the second half? 11 yards, 2 picks in a game that you had to have. And at some point, it's just how much can you blame the coaches? Because they've had 6 different coaches.
That's a great point, Bonta. And here's what I'm going to say about that. Because I saw it. Remember the first game of the season, Russell Wilson, at the end of that game against Seattle?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And, they're kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, if that play came in or that decision came in for the next 100 times in a row, he'd put it in his own hands. The hell with the coach.
What did I say to you the next day? I go, Brady says to the coach, no, we are we're staying on the field.
Aaron Rodgers, same thing in the NFC Championship game.
But I've heard from guys in Philadelphia that Nick Sirianni will make a play call to Jalen Hurts. And Jalen's we're not doing that. And he'll do something else. And he'll live with the consequences. And it could be the coach up his butt coming off the field.
Interesting.
But I want my quarterback to just say, we're not looking at the offense line, looking at everybody in that hole, it's us.
Yeah.
That's not the right call.
Yeah.
I'm going to change it.
Have some F-U in you.
Yes. Derek Carr, okay. Josh McDaniels, what's he done as a head coach? Honestly, we all know what the record is.
0.
It's horrible.
He feels like an antiquated offensive coordinator.
That's what it looks like. And so I go, Derek Carr, put the game in your hands.
Yeah.
You played with Devontae back to Fresno State. They did that cute little thing last night. Just make up a play. It's coming to you, Devontae. I got you.
Going back to the Aaron Rodgers thing, I think this is a great point. We came in the day after, and I said to B, I go, you might not ever be. This is your career.
Yeah. Yes.
This might be the last moment you have, and you're going up against the GOAT and Brady. You know if Brady gets the ball, game over.
Yes.
It's game over.
Yeah.
How you can let a rookie coach or a young coach like that and you've played in way more big games than he's ever coached in, and you let him carry the moment. To me, I thought it was one of the weakest moments of Rodgers' career.
I didn't like the way how he didn't run on that play. Remember that? He didn't run. He had a wide open play. Just get like 5 yards, get closer, get inside the 5.
Yes.
You got Devontae Adams, run the little fade route in the corner. Boom. Maybe you'll win the game. I just don't get it. Like the great ones, like you mentioned, Baldy. Peyton Manning would never get the hell off the field.
Yes.
I'm taking this.
Marvin, you do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Reggie Wade, run the post.
Yeah,
Dallas Clark, go down the team. Let's go.
You've seen. I mean, I just think that the quarterback has to just. You've got all. What's the point of having all the experience if you can't just like have this?
Right.
Like, remember when we did this back? Let's just do this.
Yeah, I was watching it real quick. I was watching, and I don't want to bring it to baseball, but I watched a Nolan Ryan doc, and just to go, like, now everything's the managers, the GMs, the same thing in football. You're seeing all the advanced analytics. We're going to go for it here. We're not going to go for it there. Nolan Ryan would tell guys, that guy in the bullpen's better than me. Go back into the dugout. And I just wish we would get more gunslinger-type stuff from these quarterbacks, especially a legend like Aaron Rodgers. No, LaFleur, you stand down.
No, but did you hear this story a couple weeks ago? Joe Burrow came out and said that in the game against Kansas City, where the headset went out.
Yeah.
And he called his own plays.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was right. Arrowhead,
I think it was at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And he just had to put the game in his own hands. And like Joe Burrow to me is an assassin.
Agreed.
Like Joe Burrow, it's like, okay, Zach Taylor's calling the plays, whatever. But like Joe Burrow is like putting it in his hands. Like, Jamar, you go to this. I'm throwing a fade to you.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to put it in your hands.
Yep.
Like, I feel like Joe would do that.
His arm talent underrated because I know he's the moxie, the confidence, the swagger, pocket presence. I think he's sneaky athletic in the way he moves the pocket. But
ran for 46 yards last week.
But is the arm talent underrated?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how it can't be like elite. It's elite talent.
He's throwing the ball down the field.
He's so sick.
Maybe T. Higgins is
Like
balling
that guy's
right
an
now.
assassin.
And Cincinnati's coming. Cincinnati's a
Their
dangerous,
offensive line's
dangerous
improved
team.
right now.
Yep.
Like that team, one thing, I did some preseason games for him last year. So I was around the team, and Anthony Munoz got COVID. So they called me up. Hey, Baldy, can you do the preseason games? I'm like, yeah, I'll do them. So anyways, I was around the team. And one thing about that team, like I feel like they have it here in with the 49ers. Mm-hmm. But there's such a team in that how they pull for each other. Like you watch Mike Hilton, their slot corner. Like that guy celebrates on the field with the offense before the offense does. Like they come off the bench, like they're all pulling for each other. And now the offensive line is really clicking. Mm-hmm. And so they're running the ball better. They're protecting Burrow. If you protect Joe Burrow, he will. It's like a Thanksgiving Day carving. You know, he's just going to cut that turkey up.
Dude, that Tennessee game, that Tennessee win was so impressive. I watched that whole game because your boy may not have gambled on the Tennessee Titans thinking, they're going to beat up Cincinnati. They're going to push the pocket. I said, oh, boy, I forgot they're the AFC champions. And they're playing like that right now, Baldy, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they win that division. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget, you can watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log out and search 95.7 The Game and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. We're live on YouTube. As Brian Baldinger is in the building. He'll be here with us until 9 o'clock, breaking down everything here. Let's get into the Niners, Shasky. As we say, good morning to everybody in the 7 o'clock hour. Brock Purdy mania is real out here in the Bay Area. And the Niners have a chance to do some special things in the NFC. It's wide open with the Philadelphia Eagles, of course. Brock Purdy, what was your impressions of him last week? And is he a guy who can say, you know what, Kyle? Stay off the field. I'm taking this. Is that who he is?
I did his first start at Iowa State. He didn't still like he was recruited by Matt Campbell at Iowa State, and he's from Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona, I think. And he was a big time recruit, and he didn't start him right away. Like he could have, but he just felt like let him see some college games. Let him see the conference, the Big 12 conference. Let him see a little bit from the sidelines. And there'll be the right time. So I don't know. I just happened to be doing a game. I think they were playing TCU or Kansas, whoever. And he went out there. He balled out. He started 47 games. Like, Kenny Pickett started 49 games. Mm-hmm. Desmond Ridder started 51 games. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think guys that play a lot in college have a head up if they have talent.
For sure.
Like, you've just seen so much, and you've been in big games. You've been on the road. So when Brock Purdy came in last week, there's a checklist, okay? Can he handle the blitz? So they started, there's Javon Holland at the line of scrimmage coming at him. There's Jalen Phillips, just clocking him as he's making a throw over the middle to Kittle. Like I went through a checklist of things. Could he escape pressure? Could he keep his eyes up down the field and make the throw? Could he throw the ball over the middle to Debo with no fear? Like, even the interception by Xavier Howard, like, it's a good throw. I'm putting it up there for my receiver to go get it. Xavier made an unbelievable play. He's capable of doing it, not many corners are. But he came right back to next series without any sort of, worry about it. The touchdown throw to Christian McCaffrey on the 3-yard line is an option route where McCaffrey could sit down. He could angle it to a Texas route. He has a lot of options right there. And I'm like, can Brock Purdy see it the way McCaffrey's seeing it? Because, like, you can make mistakes the way Carr did last night.
Right.
If you read it wrong. He didn't. He read it right. And so I don't know how he did that. And I know it's one game, and you can't get super excited. You just have to, like, okay, let's back it up. Let's stack it this week against a really good Tampa defense with a great defensive, head coach in Todd Bowles. But everything that you want to see, you saw last week. And against a good defense, a talented defense. And you saw it. And he's, just the way that, there's a lot of pre-snap stuff you got to do. You got to get guys lined up. There's motion. You got to kick your heel. Like, you got to get the snap. Like, all that stuff looked natural to him. Now, I know all the players came out and said, well, he carved up the defense. And, all right, I mean, that's what you hope Fred Warner says. You hope he just says all that stuff. Because that's what he should say.
Right.
You got to support the guy. But, like, nothing, he just looked natural to me at this point.
Wow.
And so, like, you should be excited. But I like to say, well, he's going to go take a team to a Super Bowl. I can't say that. Like, I don't know what he's going to be like on the road, and if they got to go to Dallas or whatever they got. I don't know.
So let's stop right here then. Let's just compare that performance you saw on Sunday against the Dolphins to anyone that you've seen from Jimmy Garoppolo this year. How would you compare the two?
I thought it was as good as what Jimmy has done in any game.
Okay.
And in some ways, he kind of reminds you of Jimmy because he's a pure pocket quarterback. But, Jimmy could get out of harm's way. I think Jimmy, just because he trusts his release in his arm, and he does have a snap release. Not many guys have that. Romo had it. Like, I compared it to Romo as soon as I saw him play. But, like, I thought Jimmy wouldn't move. Like, I thought he needed better movement in the pocket to avoid big hits and to extend a play another second. Like, there's another level of pocket presence that you can have.
I agree.
With being an athlete that isn't just going to run away from people. And Brock's not going to do that either. But I feel like he's got that presence about him in the pocket where he can feel things without looking at things. He can keep his eyes down the field. So, like, he looked I don't think Jimmy could have played better than he played.
Okay.
If he stayed in there the whole game.
Now, what about if you just because me and B are rooting for him? What about Trey Lance? Have you seen more from Brock Purdy in the one game than maybe you have in any of the Trey Lance moments?
Well, we saw the I don't want to call it hero ball from Trey, but he's got this he's got this arm that could just push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
You saw even in preseason when when some of the other guys were here when he played last year as a rookie. You saw the arm strength, which, okay. And you saw the ability to pull the ball down and run, which all these guys are getting hurt, I mean, so, like, why do you want to put your quarterback in that position? Right. Like, you can win games, but Lamar's out right now. You see the hit that he took last week.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably, we saw it from Mike Vick. Like, you just can't do that to quarterbacks. No. Like, they're going to get hit enough as it is. So, I want a guy that can just beat you with their release and with their ability to go through progressions. And he went through progressions last week. I saw him go right to left. Now, this week will be a different week. They're going to have pressure up the middle. Devin White's going to be coming right at him because he's a great blitzer and he's a big guy who's fast. And he can just close distances quickly. So you're going to see blitzes and pressures coming at him because most guys can beat guys off the edge. They can't beat pressure up the middle. Vita Vea.
So the person who says that they've seen more from Brock Purdy than Trey Lance, your response to them would be?
Well, I don't know if that's fair. I mean, to play 3.5 quarters and to say that you've seen already more than Trey. But I would say that he's as good as anything that if I put a highlight reel of Trey Lance together over, I don't know how many starts it is, 3 starts.
Yeah.
And I put it up against Brock Purdy, you could go, yes, he's every bit that Trey was. In 3 starts.
Interesting. Real quick, let's take a call. Adam and SF, ask Baldy anything. Then we're going to do shameless shout-outs at 7:45. Shameless shout-outs 7:45. Line them up, 888-957-9570. Adam in the city. What's happening? Good morning. You're on the roast. Ask Baldy anything. What you got?
Good morning, guys. Happy Friday in Baldy. Welcome to the Bay Area.
Thank you.
Love to have
Happy to be here, man.
Quick question. So 2 quick questions. What are your thoughts on Jordan Mason? Because what I see is like a physical runner, good vision. I think he kind of looks like a baby Marshawn. Love to have him as a compliment to McCaffrey. And then lastly, kind of just like what you're talking about with Brock, if the defense can stay healthy, is the defense good enough to lead this team to a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy at quarterback?
Well, Jordan Mason first. I mean, he's a big back. Can any back stay healthy in San Francisco? Like, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. I mean, I don't know. Like Elijah Mitchell, every single guy.
Why is that exclusive to the Niners?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just I don't know because they're running normal plays. It's not like
Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman,
Mostert. I just remember starting in San Francisco. Like San Francisco played Philly week 2 last year.
Yeah,
like they lost every running back.
It was a body bag game.
It's ridiculous. They lost 3 running backs. Like you draft these guys, and Trey Sermon got hurt in that game. Remember, he's in Philadelphia now, but I don't know what it is. Like I got to see if McCaffrey can stay healthy. That's always been, something that has traveled with him going back to Stanford. So we got to see if he can. But that's the only question right now. But Elijah Mitchell looks really special to me. He just does. Like his power is real. His violent cuts that he has, and the ability to just see the opening, the way McCaffrey saw that opening last week on that 30-yard dash to really close out the game. That's elite. And you need that in this offense because that's what it's based on.
That's elite. Wow.
Brian Baldinger here with us all morning long. We're going to take a quick break and then ask Baldy anything. We'll read some questions we got last night on Twitter, YouTube, and, of course, the Xfinity mobile text line is Shameless Shoutouts, 7:45. Shameless Shoutouts. We'll shout out your high schools. A lot of state championships going on this weekend. McClymonds High in Oakland. You got De La Salle. You got Sarah. You got a lot of things cooking in the state of California when it comes to high school football. That's all coming up. Brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping get your workers get their lives back for over 40 years.
Today, we've got Brian Baldinger in studio from 6 to 9.
Look, you can't have the conversation without talking about Nick. I mean, the first thing people point to are sacks and interceptions.
Yeah.
Those are numbers, and they don't give them to you. You can't buy those numbers on eBay.
And Warriors head coach Steve Kerr joins Damon and Rado at 5.
JK was tremendous tonight. Fantastic. He continued his recent play as far as defense and running the floor and really being solid.
It's a fantastic Friday on 95.7 The Game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Fast just got a whole lot faster. Xfinity has the fastest internet with up to 6 gig speed. Plus, Xfinity Mobile is the fastest mobile service with 5G and millions of Wi-Fi hotspots. You heard that right. Xfinity just increased internet speeds again. And Xfinity Mobile gives you can't catch me speeds. The fastest internet, the fastest mobile service, and major savings? Can't argue with the facts. Now through December 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus X-Fi Complete with unlimited data and Wi-Fi equipment included. It's just $50 a month for 2 full years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Plus, get $200 back. Go to Xfinity.com/faster. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
There's a reason Golden State has become the trusted partner for professional builders and contractors. The breadth of what they offer is remarkable. Their product knowledge can save you time. They're the largest distributor in NorCal of many of the brands they carry. Golden State's newly refreshed app offers installation guides, building codes, and much more. And the GSTV link on their homepage is a useful resource. Family owned for 3 generations. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts in the Bay Area, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at BofA.com/San Francisco. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
'Twas almost the holidays, and all over the state, not a creature was stirring, except for, well, Nate. He was panicked, in need of a really good gift. Nate's a procrastinator, if you catch my drift. So off he dashed to the closest store, and there found holiday scratchers galore. Now Nate won't get a lump of coal, unless he burns the holiday casserole. Yes, scratchers from the California Lottery are great, especially for Mr. Procrastinate. So when it's time to get your gift shopping out of the way, try scratchers. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase player claim.
Guys, 2022's been a roller coaster year, so spoil her this Christmas by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all. With soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin, even more alluring than lingerie. The texture and touch of these pajamas is so seductive that you'll both love the feel of them. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. Order today, and Pajamagram will also include a free matching naturally nude nightie with the purchase of naturally nude pajamas. That is free gift packaging and a free naturally nude nightie when you order today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
Does your heart long to wander? To encounter colorful creatures from the deep blue sea and amazing animals from the Amazon and beyond? Feed your wild heart. Travel the world right here in San Francisco. Make your reservation to the California Academy of Sciences at calacademy.org. Explore Wanderwoods, our new outdoor playscape, now open.
The award-winning documentary Beyond Homeless, Finding Hope offers real hope for transforming homelessness in San Francisco. Watch at beyondhomeless.org.
Here's to Prilosec OTC. Without Prilosec, I wouldn't be able to enjoy all this yummy holiday food. Speaking of, whoever made that apple pie, delicious. I just take one pill each morning and zero heartburn all day. So cheers to Prilosec OTC. Ooh, are those jalapeno poppers?
Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid that can cause heartburn, so you can enjoy the holidays. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores. Get in the zone, AutoZone. See details at AutoZone.com.
It's your boy Guru from Steiny and Guru, noon to 3, right here on 95.7 The Game. Now back to the morning roast. I'm a roaster because these two guys are my guys. Yin and Yang, right here on 95.7 The Game.
Come on, B. Can you name this one?
I've never heard this song in my life.
Are you serious?
I've never heard this song in my life. Well, always guess. What band do I always guess?
It's the same
What's
one.
the number one?
U2.
The same band. So I'm going to guess U2 again.
Baldy?
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Bonte, you got it? You got that right.
Do you know who the lead singer is?
No. No clue. No clue. Who's the lead singer?
Come on.
I mean, Baldy.
Who's the lead singer?
I'm trying to, he's short.
Well, that
Baldy.
helps me, Baldy.
He wears glasses.
There's a lot of short guys.
I'm trying to think what hint you could do.
Short. I'm going to look this up. I want to see how short this guy is right now.
I want you to look it up, and I want you to read it on there. Look at his face.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube right now, Bonte.
Irish rock band, Dublin. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Bono. Bono, yeah.
Bono.
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 The Edge.
Steve Bono. He's the lead singer of U2.
I was thinking Steve Bono.
To defend Bonte in this,
Oh, my
I'll never
God.
forget this story. So, John Madden.
I love you.
John Madden used to always, obviously, be on the bus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, they would, back then, when John started, like the Bears were a hot team, 85 Bear, all that stuff. So him and Summerall would be in Chicago. So he He had a place at the Dakota in New York.
Okay.
East Coast presence. Okay, you do a game in New York, stay in the city, then start traveling to the next game. He had a place in Chicago. So at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago, he had a residence.
Okay.
All right. So, and then, he had his, his normal place up in the Bay Area here, Pleasanton. So anyways, the Rolling Stones, Bonta, were playing in Chicago, and the Stones were staying in the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
So, like, my buddy Mike Frank was kind of like, he traveled with John. So they're in an elevator, and Mick Jagger is in the elevator. And everybody's asking for getting off the elevator, everybody's just buzzing. Mick Jagger, autographs, pictures, all this stuff. And John had no idea who Mick Jagger was.
What?
No idea. Like, he was a little bit like, now, John wouldn't know rap either. He just didn't know anything about pop culture.
Boom!
He knew that. He knew that.
By the way,
he didn't know pop culture at all.
His documentary, though, I missed John. It was unbelievable. It made me cry.
Yeah.
We played the video game for years. One time I saw Matt. He used to chill down on 3rd and Mission, downtown San Francisco at Pete's Coffee.
Yeah.
Just sit there.
Yep.
And one day I'm like, John, honest to God, I sat there for 15 minutes, talk football with John, and I thought in my head, I was like, man, I should get a picture. Now, you know what? This got to live on forever.
Yeah.
And we interviewed him later on in 95-70 game, but like,
that was John.
Like, you kind of, I'm not kidding you, Baldy. You remind me of a new age Madden.
An ambassador.
An ambassador.
Yeah.
I mean, the way you break it down, the way you fist up, 4th down, let's go, get off the field.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of John Madden.
Yeah, I was influenced by, I went to work at Fox in 1998. And me and Kurt Menefee were like the lowest team. But we always had these seminars in the summer. And John, the whole thing was run through John. Like, John, his presence about the game in front of the commissioner, in front of coaches, like, nobody had a more powerful presence in the whole game than John.
Is he the most influential coach in the history of the game, or is it Bill Walsh? Is it Belichick? Like, coach, I know what he's done in terms of as an ambassador. Who would you say is the most influential coach as to how the game that you're seeing today is being played?
Well, I think John, John coached 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he retired, 42.
Yeah.
And then he went into broadcasting. And so, John felt like 10 years with any team, like the message is going to get old, and so he moved on. But I feel like obviously Belichick and Bill Walsh have left their imprint on this game in so many different ways.
Shula,
Tom Landry. There's, George Howells. You go through the history of the game, and there's pillars that have been influential for 20 years or longer. But I felt like John's impact in the game, Thanksgiving Day game, like the personality.
Right.
Nobody's ever announced the game better. Like, him and Summerall were the best team ever. They tried to
totally agree.
Like, I'd never forget like something so simple. Like, so this would be Madden Summerall. So, they're doing the Philadelphia Eagles and whatever, and it's a national game. And John says something about the Bear defense.
Yep.
And Pat, of course, says, "What's the Bear defense, John?" And he goes, "Well, that's when they put Reggie on the nose and they bring the safety down. Waters comes down, he plays the linebacker and blah blah. And in 15 seconds, he explains the Bear defense.
It's incredible.
Like, nobody could communicate better than John.
In my mind, all I could think of is him breaking down the size of the spikes on the cleats at Candlestick. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God. And they're interchangeable. They got the 2-inchers and then they got the 1/4 incher. And I was just like, this dude makes me care about cleats.
Well, he basically made everything entertaining.
Yes.
It could be the heat coming off Nate Newton's head in a cold weather. It could be the way somebody chews on a mouth guard.
Exactly.
Like, everybody has their John Madden moment
right.
when he would just make people that nobody talked about into stars. Now, I kind of do that, talk about, so I don't know how, I know in San Francisco they do, but I don't know that people understand how good Dre Greenlaw is. Like, I did a breakdown of Dre Greenlaw. Like, he leads this 49er team in tackles, solo tackles. Like, it's allowed Fred Warner to even do more in ways. And so, like, but John would do a 49er game, and he'd go, this guy, Dre Greenlaw, he's the first one to the ball. Like, he'd just show you his speed.
And you know what, Baldy? Like you, Madden, the players would say, like Lawrence Taylor in that doc was like, when I knew Madden was calling the game, I had to give everything I had.
Yeah.
Because Matt was in the building. And it feels like that with you. I see you on the sidelines before the game. You're at MetLife a couple weeks ago, and it's Sauce Gardner smiling from ear to ear. No, like, man, Baldy's in the building. Quentin Williams, who I love in the middle. And Shasky knows I wanted Quentin Williams over Bosa. Now, Bosa's a freak of nature. Yeah. But Quentin Williams is having a nice career.
Yeah.
He's turned his career around. And I see the players, the way they gravitate
Yeah,
towards you.
there's a
Kind of like they
respect
did.
level.
There's a respect level.
Yeah,
There's
I
respect.
agree.
There's respect, but I was, John always believed that you had to get to know the players.
Yeah.
So that's why he would come, like, people that worked with John, he was a bear. Guys that, were on the bus, and, like, when he went to meetings, like Summerall, I worked with Pat for a year. And so he would tell me these stories, but, like, he'd have these meetings, and, Brett Favre couldn't wait to come to a meeting. And they never talked football. It'd be about his uncle or growing up in, Kill, Mississippi. And so he just wanted flavor and color. And he just wanted to get to know the people. Like, so he could he could share that with the audience.
And Summerall and him were so beautiful. Look, we're going to get back into that in just one second. If you're out there, 888-957-9570, let's line them up. We're going to do rapid fire on the 49ers. Ask Baldy anything. Let's get all of your opinions. Line up the calls, and we'll rapid fire, and we'll get some music underneath here. On
Don't forget
Summerall,
shameless shout out, 745.
beautiful. On Summerall, I was listening to the 1969-1970 NFC Championship game, the first ever one.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys versus the Niners at Kezar. Final game ever at Kezar for the NFL.
Yep.
And Summerall is the color guy, not the play-by-play guy.
Yep.
And it blew me away.
Yep.
And I couldn't believe it. And then hearing him as he got older, and that's what we grew up on, I didn't realize the backdrop of him being one of the color guys. The way he would paint the picture and allow the television.
Let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe. He was a cloudy candlestick. It's 51 degrees, and Steve Young's coming out, John. And he was just so monotone, yet brilliant. And that to me is football. I get goosebumps thinking
Jerry
about it.
Rice, touchdown, and he just let it breathe.
Yeah.
And then Matt comes in over the top, breaking it down.
I remember I was doing a Bear game with Summerall. And, it was like, it might have been an opener, maybe it was a season opener the year that we did it, 2002. Anyways, we're in Chicago, we're at Soldier Field, and the producer is jamming all this stuff in Summerall's ear. It's a new producer. It's different than the guy that he had with Madden for all those years. And so we got a flyover. We've got like this national anthem. Like we got all this stuff going on. And I could just see Pat's just like eating popcorn. He's just chewing up popcorn. Some girl's like knocking the kernels off his sweater. And so anyways, we're into the final countdown, right? We're going to come live here. We're opening up the season, the whole thing. So Pat just leans over to me and he goes, Baldy, are we leading with the Bears or the Lions? I go, we're leading with the Bears, Pat. So literally 5, 4. And all of a sudden there's a scenic of Chicago. And this is what Summerall says.
Yeah.
He goes, Chicago, a great American city. Boom, like that.
But it hit.
It just, I never forgot that. Like, I get goosebumps. Like, out of nowhere, Chicago. Who knows? A great American city.
Unbelievable.
And it just set, I was like, I'm working with the best ever.
The legend. Let's take some calls here.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to read some questions. Let's read one from Twitch, our Twitch audience.
Yes.
Twitch, we got old school.
Let's get the music going. Let's get the rhythm.
Old school 71. Ask Baldy would even like to block in the West Coast offense. Now you play with the Cowboys, the Eagles, West Coast offense, Bob McKittrick, pulling guards, pulling centers, pulling tackles. Would you have liked to block in the West Coast offense?
Absolutely. I knew Harris Barton pretty good. I knew the center really well. I mean, I would have loved it. I would have loved it because it was so specific. Mm-hmm. Like it took great coaching. McKittrick, all these guys that coached that offense. It was so specific. Your footwork, your hands, your head, your placement. I would have loved that.
Ask Baldy anything, 650. You think Brady could or should come to the 49ers next year?
If you could, so you watch, even last week when it's 16-3, and it's just looking awful.
I knew he was going to come back.
His arm, there's nothing wrong with his arm. Like, how can you still throw a football as well as you've ever thrown it at age 45? Like, maybe the deep ball might die a little bit, but he never really relied on the deep ball.
No.
Randy Moss, yes.
Yeah.
But it's never been his thing. So, maybe to Mike Evans, the ball might die just a touch, or to Julio right now. But I would bring him in for absolutely.
Can him and Kyle coexist?
Yes. Oh, that'd be awesome. With that defense and the talent, yes, I would be interested.
Were you surprised Kyle passed him over a couple years ago after they lost the Super Bowl?
But weren't they trying to get the deal done? I mean, I don't know.
You hear the reports that said, hey, he's marginally better than Jimmy. We decided to stick with Jimmy. That's the report.
Well, that's what you have to say. You have to say that with Jimmy's still your quarterback.
Even though they told Jimmy that, hey, we're going after Brady. They were transparent with Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I would have nothing against Jimmy, but if you could get Tom Brady for another year, I would do it.
All right, 925. How good is Jimmy Garoppolo? When you look around the NFL, where does he stack up? Why do Niner fans think that he's so great?
Well, he wins. The record is right up there with Montana and Young through the number of starts.
Wait a minute.
He wins.
Not all Niner fans think he's great.
I'm just reading the 925
Jimmy
text.
has been the most polarizing thing to happen out here. I mean, polarizing figures in the Bay Area the last 10 years. Draymond Green, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Kevin Durant.
So, but like you say, winner.
No, but like you said, like if you look at say the Super Bowl run, Kansas City. All right, you're up 20-10. Should you have won that game? Probably, but that doesn't guarantee anything. You've got Tyreek Hill and Mahomes on the other side, and Andy
they
Reid.
were rolling at the end of that game.
They couldn't get stopped.
I know.
So at some point, is your defense good enough to make a stop? It's 3rd and 15.
Mosley, I know.
But if I put him on the Cincinnati Bengals right now, for example, and I put Joe Burrow on the 49ers, what does it look like?
Well, I mean, San Francisco doesn't lose a game. I mean, Joe Burrow.
And then what does Cincinnati look like?
I think Cincinnati's a good team, but Jamar Chase isn't getting the ball on the sideline the way that Joe Burrow's delivering to the sideline.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like Niner fans they have a tough time with this.
Let's go to Joel in San Jose. Joel in San Jose, ask Baldy anything. You're on the Morning Roast. What's up, Joel? Good morning.
What's up, fellas? Thank you so much for having Baldy. And Baldy, thank you so much for being you. You're the best follow on Twitter. We love you.
Hands down.
Breakdowns are amazing.
Thank you.
I want to know, you're honest and brutal. Shoot us straight. What is the deal with the turnstile that is Mike McGlinchey? And should the Niners look to retain him this offseason or walk away? Please shoot us straight.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike has struggled, in some games, and he struggles against certain opponents. He's 6'8". It's just sometimes if you're that tall, you can play offense line at 6'8", but sometimes you can get twisted, and he gets twisted. Like his balance isn't what you want. You want your cleats in the ground. You want a more stable base than he has. It's part of being 6'8". Like it's, you looked at Havenstein last night at 6'7", but he's got a better base than Mike. But Max Crosby was giving him fits last night. It's just he guys that your recovering ability. Once a guy starts to turn the corner on you, just isn't what it needs to be.
Let's go to the lines. Jonathan in the city. Jonathan, we're here. They're there. You're on the Morning Roast. Ask Baldy anything. What you got, Jonathan?
Hey, good morning, guys. I just want to ask Baldy, the defense is already number one across the board. I mean, it's already playing awesome. I just want to know how better can they get if they could get Javon Kinlaw back for the stretch run.
Well, he hasn't done it. I mean, I was an advocate of Javon Kinlaw. Obviously, the injuries are the injuries. I thought there was a chance his rookie year that he could, like I saw him playing next to Bosa, and Bosa was making him better. They were running twist stunts together, and I started seeing some moves that Nick has that kind of crept into Kinlaw's game. I don't know that you can count on him right now.
Yeah.
I mean, give me Kevin Givens because I know I can count on Kevin Givens.
Yeah. 888-957-9570. A couple of lines opened up. Get lined up in here. Baldy from the 415. Everyone's healthy. You have to win for the rest of the year. This is to play for the rest of the year. Everyone's healthy. Who are you starting? Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy.
Oh, I'm starting Jimmy. Just because playoff experience matters. Going into Green Bay, going into Dallas last year, winning those games, that matters. Tight games that come down to a possession, how to manage the game, all those things I'm putting into Jimmy's hands.
And what about for next year, if you had to start the year from scratch?
I'd like to see how Brock Purdy finishes the year. I mean, if he finishes and he's like, nobody knew Mahomes could do this.
Yes.
He started one game his rookie year. Nobody, and he beat Denver that day. Nobody knew that Mahomes could be Mahomes. I'm not comparing him to Mahomes.
Yeah, one was the 10th pick, one was last.
I'm comparing him.
Yeah.
But I would say I want to see Brock through the rest of the season. If he plays well, they do well in the postseason, I have no problem bringing Brock back. But if he's just average or struggles or he's up and down, I would bring Jimmy back.
Wow, this is deep inside football here. What is this strategic advantage for a pass rusher to be in either a 2-point stance or a 3-point stance. Of course, 2-point stance, pardon me, 2-point stance is when you're standing up off the edge. 3-point stance, got your hand in the dirt. What's the advantage for the pass rusher?
You see how low Nick Bosa is in that 3-point stance? You see how flat his back is? It's like going to SFO and seeing a Learjet take off. You ever see a Learjet take off?
Yeah.
It doesn't take off like slow. It takes off like this. Like it goes right through your midsection. That Nick can't rush the passer from a 3-point stance like that.
All right, Baldy, I want to know
from the 650.
Your hammer curls from the 925. How much are you hammer curling right now in each arm?
I really don't go above 40.
Really?
No, I don't need to. Like I don't need 19-inch biceps anymore. Like I just don't need that.
How many days a week are you working out right now?
Like I do. Like I'm going to go to hot yoga today. Yeah. So I'm either doing hot yoga, swimming, lifting, diving. Like I call free diving a workout. So I try to if I can get 2 workouts in a day, like I'm doing really good. If I can,
You're
like I'm ahead of the game.
Baldy,
You're a savage.
I mean,
Because like yesterday I woke up at 5.
Yeah.
Worked all day, then I flew here, so I didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
So if I can, I'll try to get 2 in today.
Nice. See, I'm 8 weeks in and trying to, a midlife crisis here, hitting 40. So I'm doing. I went from 3 to 4 times a week, and I feel great. It's the best I've ever felt. And I went from 10 pounds, 15, 20. I'm up to 25 pounds on the hammer curls.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling great.
Yeah, good. Like look, you shouldn't really have to lift more than 3 days a week. You should be able to maintain everything.
Yeah,
like cardio's
overrated.
overrated. You're not going to lose weight doing cardio.
No.
You're only going to lose weight if you're lifting weights.
Yeah. I do a lot of swimming too. I love swimming.
Swimming's great.
Let's go to James in Napa. James in Napa, what's happening?
Working out.
Yeah.
James in Napa, ask Baldy anything. What's happening?
Good morning. Baldy, you're so entertaining and your knowledge is so great. If you were to be an NFL coach, would you rather coach the offensive line? Would you like to be an offensive coordinator? Or would you like to be a head coach? Or would you switch sides and be a defensive coach? What would you prefer?
I like coaching the offensive line. I like having 10 guys in the room, just my guys, all meatheads, just ripping on each other, just having fun, but then being serious about the craft.
Build the best offensive line all time for you. Your favorite players. It doesn't have to be the best, but your favorite players if you were building out an offensive line from scratch.
I'd probably go Ogden at left tackle.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Jonathan the Hawk to UCLA.
So sick.
Probably Ogden. I'd probably go Larry Allen at left guard.
Okay.
All right.
Sonoma State.
Yeah. Probably go at center.
Dawson from the Steelers?
Just go Jesse Sapolo.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go Jesse.
The flying Hawaiian.
Pay honor to the Polynesian community.
Thank you.
Right guard, I'd probably go Hutch.
Okay.
Steve Hutchinson.
Yeah.
And right tackle, it's hard to beat Lane Johnson right now.
Wow. My God.
Wow.
Plus, you're working out with him.
Yeah.
Orlando
what's
Pace.
he hammer curling?
Big Pace. Was Pace left tackle or right tackle? He was left.
He was left tackle. I wanted there's a Walter Jones.
How did Pace go an entire 4 years at Ohio State and not give up a sack?
Yeah, he was
that almost
the
was
Heisman
impossible.
finalist. He was the first offensive line. I'll never forget that Heisman trophy presentation. They had to make up the pancake stat. And it was like 89 pancakes for Orlando Pace, and he's the smaller dudes. He was great.
Orlando was great. That was the greatest show on turf. And you ask, Kurt Warner's not in the Hall of Fame without Orlando Pace.
Wow. Larry Allen, for just a second, I watched him as an old man come to the 49ers with Norv Turner, and it was Alex's best year up until Harbaugh showing up. It was Frank Gore's best year by far.
Ran 1,695 yards.
Larry Allen was one of the greatest linemen I've ever seen in my life, the way he would move people. Give me any Larry Allen story that you've got.
I'm trying to, I remember I brought him, when he was in the 49ers, I brought him into a production meeting where we're doing a game. And I think they were like, he's not going to say anything. I go, I'm going to get Larry to say it. So I went weightlifting with him. I go, Larry, tell me the most that you've ever bench pressed.
Yeah.
How much can you, what's the highest? He bench pressed 700 pounds. You're talking about 25-pound, hammer curls.
Yeah.
700 pounds. He loved lifting weights. He was a championship power lifter.
He won the Pro Bowl skills.
Yes,
Remember that?
Yes, he lifted the most. How do you even get 700 on the bar?
It bends. You need guys on either side in case they start slipping.
Have you seen the James Harrison videos all over the internet with him moving weight?
A little bit. And I haven't I don't go watching.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah, he's still. Still, that's his thing.
Is he like a freak of freaks? Is that what
I
it is?
remember James Harrison. He was an interesting guy. I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
So he wins the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
I forget what year it is. It's like early 2000s.
Yeah.
He has 8 forced fumbles, 16 sacks, whatever. So Pittsburgh's getting ready for the postseason, and I don't forget who they're playing. Maybe playing Cincinnati. And I go to Pittsburgh that week for Fox to do a story on James Harrison, the art of the sack fumble. Like, it was my idea. I'm going to sit. So, anyways, we go in their indoor facility, and, James isn't a man of a lot of words.
Yeah.
So, our producer, P.T. Navarro, is like, okay, we need you to introduce this, James, say this, blah, blah, blah. And then he's going through the art of the sack fumble with me. So, it's good. We got 2 cameras. You got him mic'd up. And then he's got to kind of close it out. So, the PR director's like, look, Baldy, you've been out here for an hour. Like, enough. So I go, wait a second. Let me just let James decide. So I go, James, I don't feel like you gave us the best in this closing thing.
You challenged him?
Yeah, I challenged him. I go, I'm just telling you, James, I think you could do better. I want better. He goes, well, what do you mean? I go, I just need more life. You got to, I need more juice. And so his PR director's like, cut. And I just put it on James. I'm like, dude, I want you to pretend I'm Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You got your eyes and you're closed on Tom Brady, and you're going to take him to the ground. He goes, I could do better. So he came back, and he goes, from the start. And he did this thing, and it was like he put this evil in his eye, and he said this, and he delivered it. And I go, that's what you want? That's what perfectionists do.
Dude, he may have had the greatest Super Bowl play in history
of all time.
That play is
100 yards.
iconic. 100 yards,
all time.
The block, unbelievable play. I love that guy. Let's go to Javier in San Jose. Javier, what's happening? Ask Baldy anything. What you got?
Hey, what's up, boys? Love the show.
Thank you.
Baldy, huge fan. I just want to know who your DPOI is right now and why. Thanks, guys.
Yep, good call.
I'm giving it to Max Crosby right now.
Ooh. Even on a bad team.
Yeah. So nothing against Nick Bosa, nothing against
Micah
Matt
Parsons,
Judon, Micah. You're not giving it away after 14 weeks. But the reason why I would give it to Max is because nobody plays more plays than Max. He's playing 98% of the snaps.
Wow.
Nobody defeats the run. He can't be blocked. In the run game, he literally, I don't even know how he does it. I want to sit in a film room for him to explain it to me. And then just the energy level that he plays with every single week. Chandler Jones showed up last week against Chargers, but he really hasn't done anything all year.
Yeah.
They brought in Jerry Tillery, he had one good game. He's doing it by himself. At least Nick has all these studs around him.
Yeah.
It does help. No, he's still ruining people.
Yeah.
He's still the force. And maybe Nick will win it. 14.5 sacks. He might get 20, and maybe more. So, I understand, if the sack number's big, but if you look at the total number, the number of tackles in the run game, the number of pressures, the number of splash plays, closing games out against Denver this year, closing games out against, the Chargers last week. He's been a closer. I know he didn't do it last night. Be good if they threw the flag late in the game a couple times, but I'm giving it to Max because of those things.
650. Well, piggybacking on that, you can only have one. Ask Baldy anything. Nick or Joey Bosa?
Nick.
Why?
Because he, first of all, I think that he's much stronger, and physically, he can beat you with moves, but he also can just collapse the pocket every single play.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And Joey is still he's got elite quickness, and his hands are awesome, and he can bend. But Nick is just so much stronger.
Gotcha.
Let's go to Ronnie and Martinez. Ronnie, ask Baldy anything. What's up, Ronnie?
Hey, what's up, boys? I love the show.
Thank you.
2 questions real quick. Who would you rather have for the 40 Carr or Jimmy?
Ooh, Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers. Who would you rather have? That's what it sounded like, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd take Jimmy.
Take Jimmy.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm kind of with you.
I just feel like he's makes better decisions in the pocket than Derek has.
You talk about leadership and how teammates love you. It feels like Jimmy's teammates love him a little more than Carr's teammates love him.
I don't know.
I can't call that. It's just maybe I'm just
he's
a
had
fan
more
of the
success.
couch.
You're always going to be loved a lot more when you're winning more games. And you're going to the playoffs every year. And Derek hasn't done that. and that's not a knock on him. The organization's been awful.
Right.
And what they've done around him, like obviously Devontae but like, it'd be good if Waller and Hunter and Devontae were all out there all the time. And, the offensive line's playing better now, but that was really, really shockingly disappointing last night.
No, so disappointing. Real quick from YouTube, Sideshow Bob wants to know, how do you like your steak?
Medium rare.
Come on, the only way.
I got to tell you something though.
The only way.
Hold on.
So I'm a ribeye fan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but lately, I've been into this whole strip steak thing.
Oh yeah.
The strip steak flavor. First of all, it's more expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
So the fat is marbleized throughout the meat. But you give me a strip steak, you can't screw it up. It's impossible to screw up the flavor. Somebody screws up a strip steak, they should be fired.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's impossible.
I'm with you. Well,
So
wait,
lately, I've been going strip steak.
do you not like medium rare?
Oh, I love medium rare.
Okay, I was going to say, you gave him a look, and I didn't know.
No, just everybody likes them different. Everybody likes them different.
Well, yeah, like the old
I
Irish
like
people,
my
they like
burger
it
medium,
well
but
done.
I like my steak medium rare.
Yeah, you got to have that little red in there. You got to have some blood coming out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ribeye cut. Got to love it. All right, we got a couple more here from Baldy. We could get some shout-outs if we want for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I got one shout-out in particular, but
888-957-9570. Line them up.
I have a special one. And Baldy, you can help me with this
2
one.
minutes.
All right?
Last one
For
here.
a special person.
What position group do you believe the Niners should focus most on improving through next year's draft? That's Alex in the 408.
It depends on who they lose, because you're gonna have to pay Nick Bosa. So you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the ability to keep certain players. I think they're. I would say like you. It seems like they've had a hard time keeping corners healthy. I know Lenore was great last week when he's gotten a chance. Travarius has been awesome. So that was a good pickup. But I would say position group. I would say offensive line.
Yeah.
I think you can always upgrade that. Whether it's center, like I always think like you can upgrade the center position the way they did with Alex Mack. And when your center is great, your offensive line is usually pretty good.
They haven't been able to find a center outside of Alex Mack. Weston Richburg got hurt, retired. How's Brindle been?
He's okay, but he's a little, he's just not a championship player at that position. But look, you got to play who you have.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
So he's been healthy, been durable. He's been out there every snap. Like it's been a good sign.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, I was going to say, shameless shout-outs. We got a lot of shout-outs to get to here. Let's run it, Spadoni. 888-957-9570. Line them up. Shameless shout-outs. We got a lot of shout-outs to get to here on a Friday, Payday Friday here on The Roast.
It's Friday.
Yeah, I'm a shameless, horrible human being.
Your chance to shamelessly shout out whoever or whatever you want.
I need to shout out somebody. I forget their names. They would know who I am if they're listening.
It's time for shameless shout-outs on The Morning Roast.
What? I will lead us off right here, and I want to give a special shout out to my goddaughter, Lake LaRocca. She turned 6 years old today. You know I love her. Baldy, you got to help me wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Lake LaRocca.
birthday.
She's a great soccer player.
Okay.
She's as athletic in soccer as her daddy was. And
Rocco?
Yes, Rocco.
Rocco's an athlete?
He's a great soccer player.
Better
Sonoma
athlete
State as
than you?
well. What?
Yeah, he did go to Sonoma
Yeah,
State.
he's a sweeper, great player, smaller, undersized, very into it. And she's obviously as talented as me, her godfather, but that's neither here nor there, and as pretty and as lovely as her mother. So shout out to Lake LaRocca. Happy birthday from your godfather.
What you got, Baldy? Who you shouting out today?
I'll shout out to my buddy Frankie Sisto. Like he's straight out of
Sisto.
He's right out of The Sopranos.
Okay.
He's everybody needs a fixer in their life.
Oh.
Like somebody that you just phone call.
Yeah.
Like I had I left the faucet on in my house like a couple months ago and freaking flooded the whole thing. I was gone for 5 days. Like the basement, like everything got flooded. So it was just stupid. And I called Frank. I go, Frank, I got a flood. So he does insurance, all this stuff. Like Frankie got the carpet replaced. He got like fixtures replaced. He got this new sink put in. Like he got everything done. And like, just tell me what the check is. I'll write the check. He goes, I got it all covered. Got insurance covered. Like it's all.
Oh wow.
Like, Frankie's one of those guys. We need to bring him out to the West Coast.
Yeah,
Give me his
Frankie,
number.
you like the Bay Area?
I think Frankie's listening right now. But Frankie, like whatever I need, I can call Frankie. If Frankie doesn't know, he knows somebody.
Dude, I needed Frankie out here to Bay Area right now.
I needed Florida stone crabs for this party I was having. I go, Frankie, I need some stone crabs. Give me 50 of them. I need 50 stone crabs. I want to have them at my party.
I've got questions about that party, but let's see what else we got on shameless shout-outs. Fellas, anybody?
So, here, I'll start us off here.
Go.
Bellarmine High School.
Yes.
San Ramon Valley.
Ring the bell.
McClymonds in Oakland. De La Salle in Concord. Sarah High School. Playing in the state championships. They kick off today down to SoCal.
Okay.
Friday. You can watch them online. I think at nfts.com, I believe. NFHSnetwork.com. Watch the games there. De La Salle tomorrow. Sarah High School tomorrow to take it on St. John Bosco. Shout out to the Northern California teams representing the Bay Area teams in the state high school football championships. What you got,
Sarah,
Spinelli?
baby?
Shout out Baker Mayfield. Hell of a win last night at SoFi Stadium. You know, everyone counted that guy out, but you know what? When you play against
Baker.
When you play against the Raiders, miracles do happen. Shout out Al Michaels.
What you got, Lovin? What you got?
I'm going to give a shout out to the nail that I ran over on Wednesday that blew out my tire. And that ended up being the high point of my Wednesday. That's
You needed Frankie.
That's how brutal Wednesday was for me.
Aaron Judge didn't sign with the Giants. We all
Yeah,
thought
and then you had the Warriors that night. So, shout out to the nail, man. That made my day.
Also, College of San Mateo playing in the state championship
nice.
tomorrow in JUCO.
Bonta.
You know we love our junior college football. Playing Riverside.
And Bonta should shout out his 7 teams still available in the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. Brazil.
People are still watching
England.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
Who do you got winning, Baldy?
I don't know. Like, is France still in it?
Yeah, France is still in it.
I'll take Big Blue.
Yeah.
I'll take Big Blue.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to Julius in Sacramento.
Hey,
He's got a
Julius.
shout out. Julius, what's happening? You're on the roast. Who you shouting out today?
Hey, I'm shouting. Hey, first of all, I love you guys, Shasky, Bonta.
Thank you.
Guys. But I'm shouting out my kids today. My daughter Jordan, my son Jeremiah, and my other son Justice.
Nice.
Hey, Daddy, love you. Hey, Bonta, Shasky, watch out for my son Jeremiah. He's 9 years old.
Oh.
But the kid wants to do something great in baseball.
Oh,
my daughter.
Tell Farhan.
My daughter, and my daughter Jordan. She's a upcoming little actress, little theater, but I just wanted to shout out.
Let me tell you, Dad, let me give you some advice. Play catch with them every day. Put that ball on the tee and go out there and have fun.
No doubt. Also, shout out Lincoln Mustangs. How can I forget about the Lincoln Mustangs in the city? 7A championship, state championship at Keysar Stadium. They're playing Crenshaw. So shout out to Lincoln High School and the Oakland Dynamite's Pop Warner team, Baldy, went all the way down to Florida, 6 and unders, and they made it all the way to the championship. It's an 8 seed.
6 and unders.
Knocked off, and they lost the championship,
That's
but they're 6 and unders, made it all the way to the championship.
When
out
did
of
you
Oakland.
start playing football?
I started playing when I was Pop Warner, when I was probably 7, something like that.
I can imagine a young Baldy trying to kill people on the
Warner
Pee Wee
was fun,
football
huh?
field.
Yeah, I wasn't that big back then, you know. But I like flag football, though, for these kids, especially these girls that are playing flag football.
They are.
Like, I like this girl, Kaylee Patterson. She follows me. She's a flag football fan.
Yeah.
She trains like a football player. She loves it.
Really?
And but her quickness and suddenness, like she could play in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Let's go to Brendan. Brendan
I love
and
it.
Roder Park. What's up, Brendan?
How you guys doing?
What up?
I just want to give a shout out to the fantasy league. Bourbon Boys are making the playoffs.
I can just imagine what that's all about, the Bourbon League.
The Bourbon Boys. Brendan, shout out to the Bourbon Boys. All right, man. Shameless shout outs. A Coke one here on a Friday. We got Baldy for another hour.
Yes.
Ask Baldy anything. Let's break down this game on Sunday. Brady's coming back to the Bay. Brock Purdy's starting. The Niners are humming. Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner Jr., Nick Bosa. Let's break down the Buccaneers-Niners game. Another big one at Levi Stadium. Of course, Baldy's out here to call that game for Compass Media Networks. That's going to be a lot of fun, but let's get to the injury report.
It's time for the injury report.
That really hurt.
Brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years.
The Bucs are coming to town, and they may be without Leonard Fournette, who was added to the injury report with a foot injury. He's a big-time thumper. He's a physical back who loves to catch the ball out of the backfield. He is a limited participant in practice. No official word has been made yet regarding Fournette's status for Sunday, but as of now, he is questionable to suit up. That is the injury report brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. What's coming up on the game is sponsored by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises. Ask Baldy anything. 888-957-9570. Let's break down this game on Sunday at Levi Stadium between the Niners and the Bucs.
It's It's a wild weekend in Bay Area sports.
I'm starting to tingle. What is going on here?
It's a finals rematch on Saturday night between the Warriors and the Celtics.
Draymond looks for a wing. Nobody moving. Curry back cuts on White. Takes the jumper. Got it.
And Tom Brady comes to Levi Stadium for a showdown with the Niners.
Ball is out. Ball is live. And it is a touchdown for Dre Greenlaw.
And we're all over it.
Those are facts.
On 95.7 The Game.
Hey, Brian Baldinger, have you ever wondered what's on Christian McCaffrey's holiday wish list? You are not alone. But our new favorite brand here at 95.7 The Game, Flag and Anthem, they have the answers. They sat down with the Bay Area's very own to curate the perfect list of classic and versatile looks for every guy on your holiday shopping list, including Bonta if you had to get him something. From insanely soft flannels and comfortable hoodies to shirt jackets, jeans, and there's so much more. Something even for the hardest person to shop for. So head over to flagandanthem.com today to shop CMC's holiday go-to gear and use the one-time code GAME, G-A-M-E, to get 25% off your order. Flag and Anthem premium clothes without the premium price tag.
Universal Studios Hollywood is where the holidays come together. We've tested it. Festive food with refreshing Coca-Cola. Family, friends, and fa-la-la. Dazzling lights cranked up to maximum merriment. The Grinch and his dog Max stealing your tree. All the science adds up. It's the awesomest celebration of the season. Save $20 on a Coca-Cola 2-day general admission ticket. Offer ends 12/14/22. Restrictions apply. Details at universalstudioshollywood.com/Coke offer.
Hi, welcome to IKEA and our winter celebration event.
Yeah, hi. It's been a while since I've had the whole family over, so I need a table set for 12. I need decor to impress Aunt Lucille. Oh, I need gifts for the kids.
No worries. As an IKEA family member, you can save with hundreds of offers throughout the store, from home decor to table lamps and even gaming accessories.
Gaming? Wait, did you say hundreds?
Yes. This holiday season, visit us in-store or at IKEA-USA.com/winter celebrations to start saving. The IKEA Winter Celebration event begins 12/7 and ends 12/24/22, U.S. only.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in the Bay Area at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Hi, this is Stephanie from Safeway with great news. You can earn Safeway rewards with each purchase you make. Then use your rewards for discounts on groceries or up to 20 cents off per gallon in gas rewards at participating Chevron or Texaco stations and up to $1 off per gallon at participating Safeway fuel stations. Not a member? Register for an account with your phone number at checkout and start earning rewards today. Restrictions and exclusions apply. Learn more at Safeway.com/for-you. This is Stephanie from Safeway, and we'll see you soon.
Uncle, Kate's gonna leave me, and I need your advice.
What's the problem, John?
She thinks I'm cheating on her, but I'm not. It's just that I have ED now, and I don't know why.
Don't worry. The same thing happened to me. All men lose testosterone with age, and this can cause ED. I went to Balanced Medical Solutions, and they helped me rebalance my hormones. Now your aunt is happy again, and I lost weight, too.
Thank you. I'm gonna call them today.
Guys, stop suffering. Call Balanced Medical Solutions now at 510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Thank you to all of the business owners who kept people employed during the pandemic. For all you've done, you may be eligible to claim the Employee Retention Tax Credit, a payroll tax refund from the United States Treasury Department, applicable to businesses who kept employees on payroll during the pandemic. The window is closing to claim your refund. Contact Paychex to see if you qualify. Paychex is proud to have helped more than 45,000 businesses secure over $9.2 billion in ERTC claims, an average of $190,000 per business. 50 years and thousands of experts in HR, payroll, benefits, and insurance. You may be eligible to claim the Employee Retention Tax Credit, a payroll tax refund from the United States Treasury Department, applicable to businesses who kept employees on payroll during the pandemic. The window is closing to claim your refund. Contact Paychex to see if you qualify. Visit paychex.com/ERTC to find out how Paychex can help you get additional cash into your business. Paychex.com/ERTC. Paychex.com/ERTC.
Throughout the 60s and 70s, cops hunted down key figures of the Dixie Mafia, including its enigmatic ringleader, Kirksey Nix.
I'm interested in making money. I'm not interested in hurting people.
15 years into Kirksey's life sentence, the Dixie Mafia was practically folklore, but that would soon change. I'm Jed Lipinski. This is Gone South, a documentary podcast from C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio. Season 2, The Dixie Mafia. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At the United States Postal Service, we're here to deliver fast and reliable service to help you get holiday ready. We offer free package pickup and deliver free shipping supplies to your address. So whether you're in Garland, Texas, Rudolph, Wisconsin, or anywhere in between, we're making it easier for you to spread festive cheer this holiday season. USPS, delivering for America. For all your holiday needs, including info about free shipping supplies, free package pickup availability, and restrictions, go to USPS.com/holidays.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring
Fillmore's finest, Bonta here. The pride of the Excelsior, Joe Butcher Boy Shasky. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, the morning roast.
Oh, baby, what a morning. We got Brian Baldinger in studio up until 9 o'clock. He's been with us all show long. Good morning, everybody out there getting after graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? If you're on those roadways, drive safely. Good morning to all the longshoremen, engineers, teachers, cops, firefighters, you name it, students. As we get ready for this last hour, talking some football. Niners and Bucks Sunday at Levi Stadium. Brock Purdy's first start, and it happens to be it's the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, possibly the greatest football player of all time, Tom Brady. That'll go down in Levi Stadium, 1:25 kickoff, 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything about this game coming up on Sunday. What up, Shasky?
Yeah, I want to start here with the 49ers. Losing your starting quarterback, and I get Trey was the starter to begin with, and you lose Jimmy Garoppolo. It feels like you lost two starters in the same year, even though we didn't know what Trey was going to eventually become. How many games do you think the Niners can win here? Or is it just take it week by week? Because that's kind of the approach Bonta and I've been taking, Baldy. And yet a lot of fans are like, they can still win it all. It's like, all right, we got to get into the playoffs first. Mm-hmm. And then you got to see who you're going up against and see where the other teams are at. Like, if you're a 49er fan, how would you approach these coming weeks?
Well, I mean, the cliche answer is you got to take it a week at a time. You got Seattle coming up, in Seattle. I mean, it's going to be a big game.
Yeah,
quick turnaround.
So what Geno just did, last week to DK, like DK and Lockett are a problem, and Geno's playing great. He's playing better than Russell Wilson has over the last 3 years. He's been really, really good.
Really?
He's been unbelievable. I mean, he doesn't make mistakes. And he sees the field, and the offensive line, you got two rookies out there. We'll see Charles Cross against Nick Bosa. They have Abraham Lucas over there at right tackle. I mean, those are guys that you have to beat. But, this is a big game because, Tampa is 6-6. I don't think they've been above 500 yet. So, they have a chance to get there. But they're just such a hard team to watch because they can't run the ball. I don't know if Fournette's going or not, but it doesn't matter. Rashad White, he's had one good game this year, rookie. Caught the winning touchdown pass last week. Defensively, they're a good team. They went through a stretch where they just beat themselves. They made one mistake after another. I called them out. You can't keep making mistakes. Against Pittsburgh, they made one mistake after another. Right. But offensively, they don't throw the deep ball well. They're a passing team, and so it's a short passing game. And, like, can they convert third downs or not? And a lot of times, like, on last Monday night, they couldn't convert these third downs.
What about their linebackers? Because we love their linebacker play, like, in general, Is that kind of the recipe against a team like the 49ers where you're going to try to hit all that underneath stuff and you got McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and, the short controlled passing game? Is that what can kind of slow down the Niners?
It can. I mean, Devin White is a playmaker. He's really fast. He's 245 pounds. He can bring some thump to the game. Levante David is really smart. He just, there's an old saying as a linebacker, you know the formation, you know the play. Know the formation, know the play. Fred Warner does the same thing. Levante's their Fred Warner, and so those two guys have to make a lot of plays. Vita Vea is a problem inside.
Gotcha.
It's just straight Polynesian power.
Yeah.
So Aaron Banks, these guys are going to get tested by his power inside. I don't think they're great off the edges. They lost their best pass rusher in Shaq Barrett. So I think they're a little bit limited. Their corners, and I don't know if Winfield's playing or not. He didn't play last week. He's a really good player. But Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis, I mean, these are good players. You got to beat them one-on-one.
So can you run the ball on them? That's question number one, I guess. And will Purdy have time to throw the football against his high-flying?
I think it's how you run the ball. I think you can run it on him, but it's how you run it. Like, if you just said, okay, we're going to line up and just pound it right at him, I don't think you're going to do very much with that.
How have they done in the past against McCaffrey? Because obviously McCaffrey was in that division with Carolina, Tampa Bay twice a year. How have those linebackers fared against Christian McCaffrey?
Well, you get those guys in space, and McCaffrey's going to beat anybody in space. If you're matched up with them, and he starts putting that Steph Curry crossover dribble on you, he's going to separate from you. Now they don't do a ton with them like that in San Francisco. They ran a couple plays last week for him like that, but I feel like sometimes Kyle has so much that there's a thing about just coming back and just repeating plays. In the passing game,
right?
Until they stop it, just doubling plays up. And I kind of feel like Kyle gets away from that because he's got this whole menu of plays. Let's go to this one on third down. We haven't used this one. What about plays that just work?
Right.
Make them stop you. I feel like sometimes you don't need a whole menu.
Well, what's his weakness? Because I do believe there's times you could feel it. Like you're watching it and it's boom, 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 hot knife through butter with the offense. Then there's other times it feels so constipated. Is that just a byproduct of the NFL? Is that Kyle? What is the weakness in the play calling?
It's really that is what you're talking about. Is are they converting third downs when they get to third downs? Can they stay on the field? Because if you can stay on the field, you can find that rhythm.
Yeah.
You can find those plays, especially in the run game. You need carries to figure out. You don't know. Some days, literally, you come off the field as an offensive lineman, and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, how do we get the freaking Mike linebacker blocked? Like we can't get to him. And so you go, okay, now you're kind of, do we pin and pull? Do we fold? Do we bring a wide receiver in to come up? So there's options, but you have to figure that option out. And if you're just off the field 3 and out, you can't get to that rhythm where the wind back play is working behind Juice.
Right.
Or the outside zone with Juice and Kittle blocking the edge, is there. Every game is going to provide certain runs. That cutback by McCaffrey was at the end of the game.
Incredible.
But, Trent got his guy down the ground. He kind of blocked 2 on the play, and it opened up. If you don't get cracks at that during the game, and they ran the ball a lot in the second half last week, if you don't get cracks like that and stay on the field, you might never get to that play.
So the best third down conversion rate in the NFL, top 5 teams.
Give them to me.
Number 1, Buffalo. Number 2, Kansas City. Number 3, Cincinnati. Number 4, Philly. Number 5, the 49ers.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because I would say that those are 4 of the better quarterbacks this year, although Josh has turned it over a lot. Wouldn't you say, those are 4 of the top?
Josh is that threat, on third downs.
Yeah.
And so is Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
So those two guys, I've watched, every snap that Jalen Hurts has had, but I live in Philly. So, his ability to just pull the ball down and know where the first down marker is to get it. Same thing with Josh. They give you that. Mahomes does the same thing. And Burrow last week ran it 3 times on third downs for first downs.
On Jalen Hurts for a second, because my overall sentiment, we've been peppering you with questions about the 49er quarterback. You feel a little reluctant on Trey Lance. That's and I get it. There's not a lot there. You feel a little reluctant, and I'm not trying to pin you down or anything. Did you feel that way with Jalen Hurts a year ago, 2 years ago?
Well, look, he started the last 4 games. In fact, it was yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Jalen Hurts being named the starter.
Yeah.
Okay, so he started the last 4 games, although he got pulled in one of the games. He won one of them. And so you had a 4-game sample, and nobody knew. So then he comes back last year with Nick Sirianni. And the offense was so up and down. Like, they were a running team for a while. Then they just spread you out like they were a Big 12 team, and they threw bubble screens. And like, this sucks. This isn't an NFL offense. Like, you can't do this and win games. And then they had A.J. Brown this year, and he's a difference maker. You could throw jump balls like you did last week against Tennessee to A.J. Brown. And those two guys, I mean, Jalen is the godfather to A.J. Brown's daughter.
Wow.
Like, they're that close.
Wow.
So there's just this trust. And then there's, and A.J. catches everything with his hands.
Yeah.
And Jalen loves that because it gives the defensive back less time to react.
Yeah.
So there's, so they built the team up around him, and they've got the best offensive line in football. So you go, okay, I love Jalen. And Jalen's an MVP candidate. In fact, I think he is the MVP of the league right now. But, people can debate Mahomes or Burrow, whoever they want to do, but that's fine. But, I couldn't say that Jalen was going to be this after 4 games. And so to Trey Lance, there's just no sample size.
It's funny because he was coached by Lane Kiffin in Alabama. He leaves Alabama, goes with Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma.
And Brian
Daboll, no doubt, down in Alabama. So he's been coached by a lot of good minds.
No, but that's not true, though.
It's not? You don't think so?
No, because Jalen will tell you, nobody coached me in Alabama.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he didn't learn anything. No, he was a runner. He'd scramble and buy time and do it.
Well, that's what I thought he was when he got replaced in that game.
He said and then Doug Peterson, he said he didn't learn anything. And so, this is, I don't know if this has to be repeated or whatever, but Lincoln Riley really coached him, and he took a big jump.
Yes.
And all he wants to do, to Jalen's thing, coach me. Tell me, how to get to my third option on this play.
Yeah.
What I should be looking at. And, just help him. Give him the tools.
So then how many coaches out there are doing that? Because for the longest time, it was you can't improve accuracy. That's what people, you either are accurate or you're not. And then it feels like Josh Allen kind of came around and everyone's like, whoa, Daboll coached it into him, or he worked on it, or whatever, however you want to make the dissemination there. And then Daniel Jones, you see Daboll with the success he's having there, maximizing what he can do, minimizing what he can't. And I don't even know if Daniel Jones is any good.
Luke Getsy in Chicago with Justin Fields has done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
It's a poorly coached position.
So I guess my question is, should I have faith as a 49er fan that they should stay the course with Trey Lance long term? Forget this year for a second, long term with Shanahan.
Didn't Kyle send Trey down to L.A.?
Yep.
To work with Palmer?
Yep.
I don't know if it was Palmer, but he worked with somebody on his mechanics.
Oh, who's the guy from BYU?
No, but do you trust Kyle and him working together? Is there evidence as Kyle as a head coach, Kyle as an offensive coordinator? I mean, maybe I'm pressing too hard on this, Baldy.
No, but if you look at his first start against Arizona last year, he ran the ball 20 times.
Yeah,
and he got hurt at the goal line. He got smashed.
He got hit way too much.
Two guys, Isaiah Simmons and somebody else, just
Buda Baker just smashed him at the goal line. So I'm watching the game. And I'm saying to myself, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I know he's a runner, and it helps the run game. But why are you running your quarterback 20 times?
And getting him crushed.
Can we take anything away from that Texas game in week 17
he
last
improved.
year? He improved.
He was not very good in the first half. Mm-hmm. He was better in the second half. Missed throws in the first half, made those throws in the second half. So you go, okay, well, the guy just sat. I don't know why they didn't play him at all.
Yeah.
During that stretch from Arizona till then, not even a series, nothing. I thought that was a mistake. And so I thought he was better in the second half against Houston. And so, he's just had, and he played one game his last year at North Dakota State, COVID. And the year before, he started, 16 games. There's just not a sample size.
And back on the Jalen thing. So, is the position evolving in the sense of, you can't make these snap judgments on players so early, and you got to allow them times to grow? Or is that an outlier? How are we viewing this? Because there's this tug and pull. The Niners have a win now roster now. That's what everyone says. But they invested so much into the kid. That's what makes this such a conundrum. So I don't know where to stand as a Niner fan. I feel so conflicted.
Well, it's hard. Chicago's going through it now. It's hard to develop a young quarterback and win games.
Yeah.
Now they don't have a defense like San Francisco
or weaponry
or any of that. So got to build around the guy. Philadelphia has continually to build around Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Buffalo has continued to build around Josh Allen. But both those players have done a lot to improve their accuracy.
Gotcha.
Josh Allen spent the offseason during COVID in Los Angeles working on his footwork. And you can see shortening his stride, just basics. so that his release is tighter. And it's got these releases now where it's almost pinpoint at times. And you could never say his first year that he'd ever be a pinpoint passer. And so now, the touchdown throw last week to Gabriel Davis was sick. Yeah. He's running out of real estate. He's like on the sideline. He makes this throw. So you go, okay, but that's kind of how Mahomes plays. That's kind of how, you can say, well, Josh Allen was turning it over too much, and he was, and they were losing games. But you can't take that out of him. No, you got to let Mahomes. You got to let Mahomes make some mistakes because he's going to win these games making those same plays. And so last year he went through a stretch. We were 3-4. There was too many turnovers. His mom was publicly going, it'd be good if the receivers caught the ball. All these things that were glancing off, receivers' hands. Is that my son's fault? She was getting ticked. So there's some where you got to let them play, let them feel like they can extend the play, like the play's never over. There's some of that. You got to let them do that.
So we're talking Trey, we're talking Purdy, we're talking Jimmy. We don't know who's going to be the quarterback in San Francisco
next
season. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers rumors. What about Lamar Jackson? He's probably going to get a big payday. Where is he at as a passer? We know what he could do as a runner. I don't think Baltimore's done a tremendous job at building around him in terms of weaponry on the outside. Mark Andrews,
they drafted 6 receivers in 3 years.
Right.
Okay, but Baldy, here's real quick on that. He's on a rookie contract, and yet I feel like they let guys go as opposed to adding. Judon leaves in free agency. Right. They lose playmakers.
But just playmakers. Yeah, playmakers on the outside. Hollywood Brown gets traded to Arizona. You bring in Duvernay. You have Mark Andrews, who's one of the best tight ends in football.
I love Bateman keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, he keeps getting hurt. They have the running backs, but J.K. Dobbins keeps getting hurt.
Right.
Tore an ACL last year. Can't stay on the field this year. What about Lamar
the offense?
Jackson?
Just watching it last week, even when Tyler Huntley took over, who's a pretty good player, and might be a real good player if he just was able to keep playing because he's really athletic. He's not as athletic as Lamar, but he's athletic. Right. He can get out of harm's way. And he made some plays on that winning drive just the way we saw Baker last night in the game-winning drive. So you look at him, you go, the offense looks like it can't advance in a postseason.
Exactly.
It just looks like it.
Yes.
Right. And some of that is Lamar because you can't just – because there's plays that – and this is to Jimmy's credit. There's plays that have to be made on timing.
Yeah.
There's, not everything can be made on timing because you could take the number one away and you could have a breakdown in your offense line. You got to get out of the way. But some of your offense has to be on timing.
And I think that's the Russell Wilson problem this year. Everything, he always has to go off script.
You just can't win consistently like that because you're just not going to make that many. For example, I saw Derek Carr does this a lot.
Yeah.
Let's say Derek Carr scrambles because he doesn't like what he sees.
Yeah.
I've seen Derek Carr's escape route is to the right.
Right.
And you got 4 receivers to the left. And there's nobody to throw to over there.
Yeah.
You go, well, what are you going to do going to your right?
Play's cooked.
It's over.
Yeah.
You're going to throw it away. So, you just can't go off script and just be – and I believe in win Super Bowls. I just don't think you can.
So, Lamar, what do you think happens with him? Did you stay in Baltimore? Can he flourish, or does he need playmakers? Because when you bring up Jalen Hurts, they make the trade for A.J. Brown. Boom, that offense looks
well. Baltimore's got a conundrum because are you going to give him the same contract that you gave Kyler Murray or more? It looks like a mistake, doesn't it?
The Kyler?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. When you have the franchise tag, I don't understand why more teams don't use it. I talked to him about this a lot. What Washington did with Kirk Cousins was probably the right thing.
Okay. And then they couldn't afford him. So it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, so that's the question, the conundrum. You give him the franchise tag and then do it one more time and you get 6 years out of him, or do you pay him? And you go, as soon as you pay him, the 230, 250, whatever it's going to be, you really are challenged by what you can do with the roster.
You're locked in. I mean, you are locked in.
So by all accounts, this might be a pretty good quarterback draft.
Right.
but you don't know. Obviously, you don't know.
Speaking about that, can we just for 1 second talk about Caleb Williams? I know I'm a quarterback. I get infatuated with him. I watched this kid the first week. I'm like, whatever. I've watched him every single week because USC's on
you
TV.
Have to.
He is incredible. Am I falling victim to the college quarterback again? I feel like he's the best. I think he's a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence in terms of throwing the football, pocket awareness, feel, arm. I feel he's the complete package.
I agree. But I know Caleb, so I've known him since he was 17. And, Kyle and Sean McVay, they all worked with him in the quarterback collective. He was an advanced student when he was 17. I said when I first saw him throw the football, that this was when Russell was in his prime. So this is like 4 years ago. We were in Indianapolis at this camp. And I was sitting in the film room with him, just looking at plays and looking at him dissect coverages. Like, he was so advanced. But when I watched him throw a football, and I said, if he went to the combine, people would say he can throw the ball as well as Russell Wilson. Wow. Like, that's how well he threw it.
At 17?
At 17.
Wow.
And, you know, and so he was still growing physically. He was taller than Russell. But I thought he could throw the ball as well as Russell Wilson, who was 17. Sometimes you go to the combine, you see these kids throw it, and you're like, they don't have it. They don't have it. Like, but at 17, I would say this kid.
So he looked like he had it in that Red River Shootout last year when he replaced Spencer Rattler.
Totally.
He made a throw. Rolling out to his right.
That was his come out party.
Yeah, no doubt. He threw it on the
dime.
I was like, what?
Like Mahomes. You know, when like you're talking about rolling out left, he flips the hips.
Yes. I mean, there's nothing he can't do on the run. And there's no position that he can't throw the ball from.
What is he, 6'3", 6'4"?
No, he's 6'1", 6'2".
No, he's like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, he's smaller.
Yeah,
but he's thick.
I will say this, though, Baldy. I don't like throwing him. I don't think it's fair to Caleb Williams to say, hey, he's like Mahomes. He's like this guy. We do this so much. I'm like, Mahomes is one of one.
Yeah.
We've never seen anything like Mahomes.
He's the best player.
You know what I'm saying? So let's start somewhere else.
Well, I mean, but that's
but the questions that Mahomes had coming out, like I did his games at Texas Tech.
You did.
And I was out there in Lubbock watching him play. And I couldn't. And so when I heard the analyst at the time going, well, you know, he's got his mechanics have to be tightened up.
Yeah,
he can't play.
turnover prone.
But all that stuff. You know, he had to score 50 to beat Baylor, to beat Oklahoma,
which is
to beat
Caleb
TCU.
right now.
Right.
Exactly. And so he had to it forced him to like do all these things that he's doing now in the NFL. But I remember seeing him at the Super Bowl. Lee Steinberg's his agent. So we were walking into the media center, and I see Pat, and so I go, what are they saying? He goes, I think Baldy, like, second round, looks like that's my sweet spot. So, and that guy thought, okay, that'd be a good place to take him. And then Kansas City jumped up in front of New Orleans, who was going to take him at 11. That's why they jumped up to 10. And there's Gruden saying, when he's at Monday Night Football, he's the best. So there's guys that knew. Sean Payton
Did you hear the story that he just had? He said Matt Nagy, who was the OC back in the day in Kansas City, and he snuck Mahomes the playbook. He said, I want you to study this, so when you come to the meeting tomorrow in Kansas City, I want you to ace the test because I want you as a chief. Yeah. And then Mahomes started telling other teams, like, I think there's going to be some teams. He told Kansas City, there's going to be some teams that will not let me slip past 13.
Sean Payton said he had him, well, here's what he says now,
right,
as the highest player he's ever graded coming out.
I believe that.
You do?
I do believe that.
Then why didn't he jump up higher?
Because he was sitting there at 11. He didn't think anybody would come from 24.
Gotcha.
That's a long way to come.
Yeah.
They gave up a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's 2020.
Right.
But, if John Gruden, I mean, if Peyton is in L.A. next year with Justin Herbert, I think you're going to see like.
Well, we watched him play Sunday Night Football, and I've seen a lot of quarterbacks come through Candlestick and Levi's. We've been very lucky. I saw Mahomes this year. Mahomes is spectacular. Guy didn't miss an inch. I mean, accurate to perfection. Herbert's incredible. He threw some dimes. He threw guys open, and they dropped balls in that game. Tight end dropped the ball. Wide receivers dropped ball. He's making two random wide receivers look good.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's a stud.
I mean, he's got to score 30 every game in order to. Their defense, they can't tackle. They're just terrible.
You believe Sean Payton will be back on the sideline next season?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I believe he took the job at Fox to be in L.A. to be able to see these games in real time.
Really?
Yeah. Like I don't know anything. I'm not an insider.
Yeah.
I'm not making any predictions.
Yeah.
I think he's just if Brandon Staley, like if it's 2 years and he's done, like it might be time. I don't know. I don't know.
I think he stinks.
There's things that you can say about it, right? But like that might if I think it could open if Sean Payton says this is what I want to do, because his ability to put an offense together around what you have and to fix what's broken, whether it's the offensive line, whatever. Like I just believe in his power to lead and fix what isn't there.
See, I keep thinking Denver needs to make the move.
They might too.
But why would you want to coach? If I had the choice between Russ and Herbert, I'm taking Herbert.
No doubt. But John may not be available. We'll see about it. We'll see.
But it always starts with the quarterback. And you can't get as good a prospect as Justin Herbert.
That's a big-time prospect.
When I saw him at Oregon, I watched him play Cal up close. I was like, But then it's probably more of an indictment on Mario Cristobal.
Right.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that, we all kind of said the same thing.
Okay.
But then, like when Penei Sewell came out the next year, we started watching because he didn't play the next year. So we started going back and rewatching after Justin played.
Yes.
A whole year. And you go, how do we miss this? Look what he did in the Rose Bowl. Look what he did.
He looked great in the
games.
Rose Bowl.
But if you ever want to just have fun, game day, like go on the field and watch Justin Herbert throw a football.
It's beautiful.
Like every single the ball, the way it spins, the release, like just the focus, the location. Like you can't be more entertained in a pregame warm-up than watching Justin
Mahomes
Herbert.
warmed up in that preseason game with Trey Lance, his first game.
Yes.
I'm looking at Mahomes just throw it. I'm like, damn. This is next level,
Mahomes.
man.
I see Mahomes do this. Like this is like just put the ball in that guy's hands.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him just do this.
Yeah. He was doing all that stuff.
Like you,
Perfect
like he's
spiral.
just like it's a playground.
So on
the
that
football
note,
field is a playground.
is he the Mahomes? Is he the best thrower of the football ever?
Yes. Like you put Dan Marino out there, and I'm not overstating.
That's what I'm asking.
Peyton Manning, you put anybody you want. Like nobody's throwing football like that.
Wow,
nobody. Wow. Like he's the best. He's the best player in the league and has been. You wouldn't take him over any other. There's no player you would take over him.
Brian Baldinger live in studio here on the Morning Roast. He's with us all show long. Ask Baldy anything. Line him up. 888-957-9570. We'll pound the phone lines in the next couple minutes here. I got questions in my hand. We'll read these questions off. 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. You brought up Kyler Murray because we're going to see a lot of him in the future. Just
Call
got the
of
big
Duty
fat,
Kyler?
Yeah, he got the big fat contract. I'm disappointed in Kyler. I thought coming out of Oklahoma, I was like, okay, this guy's going to change the game. I know his height. I know his weight. But, man, he could do things on the football field that not too many guys can do. He can throw it down the field 60 yards. He can run. He runs fast. He's fast. What is going on with Kyler? Because I watched his Hard Knocks.
When he came out, what was the biggest knock on Kyler?
Height.
Okay. Like, how tall is he? Is he 5'10"?
I don't even know if he's 5'9".
Okay. Like, so it's just hard to play today's game at that size. If you watch him throw the ball to the sidelines, he can throw it as well as anybody. Like, he's got a cannon.
Yeah.
You watch him throw the ball over the middle, like, he doesn't complete that many passes over the middle.
Well,
you can throw it deep. You can throw it deep. You can run. That's the thing, coming back to, like, can you just throw the ball on timing? Can you get it out on timing? When you're running these dig routes, in the middle of the field, and that's like it looks dangerous to him.
What was his study habits at Oklahoma? What were they saying about him?
That story that came out, it's unfortunate. I wouldn't wish that on any player.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
whether
like
it's
it
true
either.
or not true.
Yeah, I didn't like
that
it.
story shouldn't. Like, you got to swallow that.
Brett Favre says he couldn't read a defense until he was in his 11th year. Also didn't take a shotgun snap until his 11th year.
Well, Holmgren hated it.
Oh, so he did.
Yeah, Brett wanted he didn't mind it, but Holmgren was against it because it took away the timing of the West Coast offense.
Oh, I meant more the studying.
Oh, I don't know. Well, if Favre said it, he said it. Like, it's true. I kind of believe some of that stuff. There was a street part to his game.
Yes.
That was freelance. Like, he would tick Holmgren off all the time, like not running the play that he called. He ran his own play.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, all that stuff was like, that was a battle.
Back to the Niners for a second, and D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator.
Yes.
We all believe he's probably going to get a head coaching job. Are you seeing a rebirth in teams' hiring processes in terms of defensive coordinators? Like we see McDermott in Buffalo. We see Saleh in New York having some success with the Jets. Eberflus in Chicago. D'Amico Ryans obviously is going to get a job. Staley was a defensive coordinator with the Rams. Are we seeing the rebirth in a different – because everybody's going offense for so long, and now we're seeing these defensive coaches has Robert Vera at Washington.
So I hate that whole idea that you need an offensive guy. Like, I want a leader. You got to talk to the whole team.
McDermott is a defensive guy.
He's a defensive guy. Like, you're going to hire assistants to coach all the positions and run the room and put the game plans together. I want a guy that stands up in front of the room and can galvanize a team. I don't care what side of the ball they're from. Like, it's ridiculous to think that. And then the other part is, well, we're going to hire him because he's going to fix the quarterback. Okay, fix the quarterback. What about the other 52 guys?
Yeah, what about right tackle?
What about your left guard that is in a funk? Like, what are you doing?
Well, and that's why I love Belichick, because he can coach every position.
Well, he should coach every position. Right. I played for Tom Landry. So Tom Landry coached, like, in fact, we just had this reunion in Dallas on Tuesday. Randy White. We were talking about Mondays coming in, game day, and what Randy told me the story. I never even knew this.
Yeah.
Like, he was the best defensive tackle in football at that time.
Yeah.
Right? Walked into the Hall of Fame in his first ballot.
Him and Ed Tutall.
So I'm talking to Randy. Randy said that he used to go home and get a copy of the game as quick as he could to watch it, to see where his bad plays were. So that they were in the meeting and he knew Landry was going to call him out.
Yeah.
He was already gripping.
Really?
He was already. We had 3-hour meetings on Monday. And Landry went through every play, every position, offense, defense, special teams. And Randy, who was the best player in the league, was gripping, already getting ready for it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, I'm with you there. They went so crazy with these offensive coordinators.
I like D'Amico. And D'Amico's going to get a ton of interest. And he should, because of what he has done and accomplished so far, and maybe more to do. But I don't care what side of the ball they come. I've seen special teams coaches, Harbaugh, come in there and do a good job.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh was, a defensive line coach for forever, got a job, as a coordinator. He's doing a good job there in New York. But I just want a guy that understands the game and knows how to lead and motivate.
Right.
And then, look, hire a good staff. That's important.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't get it right in the first time. Sometimes you got to make some changes.
Right.
But you can't be afraid to make those changes.
Yeah, D'Amico. It seems like the players love D'Amico Ryans, back-to-back defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
Wonder Chris Kosaric will get elevated.
He's
get
so much
promoted.
fun to
He is
watch.
fun.
Oh, my God.
Right,
Bonta pointed him out.
We go down to training camp and the sled drills.
Oh, my God.
And he's bent over and he's yelling, get off the ball. And they're moving the stick and they're moving the string to get off the ball. And Bosa gets beat. He's like, no, I'm going back. And Kosaric's yelling at Bosa. He's all in his ear. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable, man. I can watch these drills all day.
I would pay money to go to a 49er practice, a real practice, when I played.
Yeah.
Just to see Bosa against Trent Williams.
Oh.
I would, practice is important. We're doing this game day. This is for the world to see. I just want to see those two guys go at it full speed.
So Joe Staley says that when Bosa came in as a rookie, it was like a second day or whatever, they got paired up against each other. Within 2 plays, he goes, I might have to think about retiring.
So real quick, I ranked the top 10 pass rushers after Nick's rookie year. And I wanted to put Nick, I don't know if I'd put him in the top 5, but I put him 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Only because it was only 1 year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went and I asked Ronnie Stanley, Joe Staley, Lane Johnson. I asked 5 tackles around the league, how my rankings were.
Yeah.
And Staley says, Baldy, Nick is better than all these guys. Chandler Jones, his brother, all these guys. He goes, I understand you can't put him there, but I have to deal with this beast every day. Staley's the one that told me, he goes, he's the best.
Right. And I couldn't believe that coming.
Yeah.
And Staley is a straight shooter.
Straight shooter.
Yeah.
Straight shooter. No, he was amazing in practice. Nick Bosa's something else. Let's take some calls here. Let's take some calls. Let's go to line them up. 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. He's in studio with us until 9 o'clock. Been a lot of fun this morning. Of course, we have Baldy on every single Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. breaking down the previous Niners game. He's calling Bucks and Niners this Sunday, a big-time game at Levi Stadium. Let's go to Shannon in Martinez.
Hey,
Shannon, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Good morning, you guys. I got one little question for you, Baldy. I'm going back to when I was a kid. I know I'm offline right now, not football talk, but I want to know who was your favorite wrestler, Baldy, because I dealt with egomaniacs, the Hulkster, yeah, brother, the vitamins and eating the prayers and all that stuff, and the Ultimate Warrior. I know you think I'm a little crazy. I'm a 46-year-old guy, but I just want to know the answer. And if you looked at Miss Elizabeth a little bit wrong, I might come with that elbow off the top rope, Baldy. I love what you guys all do here, and I just want to know the answer. And there's only one, brother, so you got to give it to me, Baldy.
I mean, Ric Flair. I'm going Ric Flair. You want some greatest wrestler?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Boy, Ric Flair?
I'm going
the
Flair.
Nature Boy?
Yeah, the Nature Boy. Come on.
Can't be mad at that. That documentary was bad.
Who are you taking?
I love Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. I was an Ultimate Warrior fan growing up. I transitioned to Ric Flair. Yeah, I'll probably go Ric Flair.
I'm taking Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I can't go Stone Cold.
Well, are you kidding me? When the glass breaks,
I can't go.
Him and The Rock might have been my favorite era.
Bret the Hitman Hart too was up there.
Stone Cold just didn't look big enough for me.
Yeah,
he wasn't menacing enough.
It wasn't about the wrestling technique. It was about the attitude, and then DDTing and Stone Cold stunning your boss.
Yes, no, I get the show, but
right. Give me Razor Ramon, if anything. Give me Razor Ramon. Give me Lex Luger. Give me Sting. I like Bret Hart, man. Bret the Hitman Hart.
How about Shawn Michaels?
Shawn
Sweet
Michaels grew
chin
on me.
music.
The Rock. All right, let's take more calls here. Let's get to Gene. Uncle Gene in Oakland. Uncle Gene, what's happening?
Hey, fellas. Hey, it's great to finally talk to you, Baldy. I've been enjoying your commentary all this time.
Thank you.
And you proved to me again that something I've known for years, that the O-linemen are the smartest guys on the team. So, anyway.
I don't disagree with that.
Here's my question. So, moving forward, my biggest concern with Brock Purdy is his inability, or I would guess his inability to read defenses just because of his lack of experience. So my question is, how much help can the O-line or even other members of the team give him to help read these defenses to keep them upright and successful?
Yeah, well, look, the more time a quarterback has, the better they're going to be. I mean, you hit a quarterback early I don't care who he is, early in a game, like they're going to be looking to get the ball out of their hands quicker than they normally would. And so you see it all the time. So the less he gets hit, the more he's protected, the more he can go through progressions. He started 47 games at Iowa State. Now, Big 12 defenses don't look anything like NFL defenses.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's where I want to go because I've been hard on Brock Purdy because of the whole experience thing. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks with experience. Why does it matter so much for Brock? Because we'll see a quarterback have all the experience in the world. They come into the league, and they can't hit anything. They can't hit a check down.
Well, I mean, everybody's different, so you can't, group anybody together. So you really have to get inside the guy's mind and just see, Joe Burrow, when he was coming out, he's at Ohio State, doesn't work out, right? Goes to LSU. Okay, the first year. Next year, Joe Brady comes in, offensive coordinator. Right. Comes from New Orleans, brings some concepts of Sean Payton. The thing that Joe Burrow did, and the reason why, now, you have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But what he did to go 16-0 that year was his ability to go through progressions. Fast, give me 5 out, I'll figure out who's the open guy. And he still does that in Cincinnati to this day. You can't just say, well, he can read a defense, but how does he do it? How he does it is something that's just difficult to explain. I can see the head movement. Yeah. I can see the feet move. Drew Brees was always easy because every time he would get off one receiver to go to another, he reset his feet. Yeah, because he had to be in the right throwing position.
His athleticism was very underrated.
He was an all-state basketball player. Yeah. Mr. Basketball in Ohio.
Well, on that same note, because you were talking about Kyler Murray and the size, right? When I don't pretend to know it as in depth as you, but I'm going to practice. I'm watching everybody, and even Jimmy looks kind of small. You know what I mean? In the pocket, you're like, God, he's got to step back even farther to see over the linemen because they got some big boy linemen. Purdy looked even smaller than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I worry about just the size of the individual and how sustainable that is. Winning a couple of games is great, but I feel like a lot of Niner fans this could be the future, and I'm a little reluctant to even go down that path because he's so small.
There was a throw that he made last week to Kittle over the middle. It was 3rd and 10.
It's a dime.
So Jalen Phillips, Zach Seiler is coming right out, number 92. Yep. And he's got his hands up. And the ball, the difference between the completion, which was 15 yards and a first down, and an incompletion was literally 3 inches. If Seiler's hand just goes like this, the ball's batted down. Now, some guys get the balls batted down a lot at the line of scrimmage, and some guys don't.
Right.
And it's really not a question of size. Baker doesn't get a lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage.
He's not big.
He's 6 feet.
Yeah.
So it's everybody just sees it just a little bit different. And the release, I watched a couple things from Purdy. He's got some releases.
Little side arms. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to bend it a little bit. I saw that ability to do that.
I know you said that obviously Patrick Mahomes may be the greatest thrower of the football ever. If you're starting a team from scratch from the 650, you, Baldy, who's the guy you want running your team?
Oh, Mahomes. I'm taking him over every single player in this league because of his ability just to bring complete confidence and joy to the game every day.
Yeah,
he loves it. You just watch him warm up, interact. He sits on the bench pregame 3.5 hours before kickoff, talking to the trainers. His fullback, he's just a regular guy.
So appropriate that he's compared to Stephen Curry. That a lot of people call him to Steph Curry because Stephen Curry has the same joy every warm up.
Yep.
Talks to everybody, equipment managers, kids, has that same joy in year 14, and you see him averaging over 30
Josh Allen
points
has
a game.
it too. Josh Allen has it. It's maybe if Patrick Mahomes was in New York where you just had this grinding media every day, maybe it would wear him down. It's a little bit easier in Kansas City where it's not so bitter.
Plus the setting. Does that matter?
Yes.
In terms of the team being good? Because Bonta goes back, and he says it all the time. The Niners, they were a dumpster fire. They had no blue chip talent at all at the time, right? We didn't know DeForest would develop into an all-pro. They had an opportunity to take whoever they wanted in that draft. They passed on Deshaun. They passed on Mahomes.
It drives me crazy.
And it drives him nuts. And it goes crazy. So you're starting a team from scratch with nothing on it. Do you take a quarterback? Do you not take a quarterback? Would the Niners have been better just taking the kid. He struggles a little like the way Josh Allen did with Buffalo. Like he kind of started from scratch. They weren't a great team.
Well, I think I would go quarterback, then I'd go left tackle, then I'd go, give me Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Give me a guy that can get to the quarterback.
Do you see what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Like, do you
No, I
build up
understand.
the team and
Because
then get the
that team-
quarterback?
Because the hardest guy to find is the quarterback.
Right.
So if you locate that guy, then I do every single thing I can to build around that guy.
Yeah.
And
you
it's year
never stop
6.
building.
And it's year 6, and we're still having discussions about the quarterback.
Like Cincinnati.
Still, like we kept going with Jimmy and Brady and Kirk Cousins. And first of all, it's a crime that Mitchell Trubisky was drafted as the first quarterback in that draft.
I watched
I'm
him
a
in
Florida
that-
State fan.
in that
Well, John
bowl.
Fox
I'm
was
like,
the coach of the team. They didn't know.
Right.
He didn't know that Chicago was
Baldy,
taking.
I watched
Oh,
him
my
versus
gosh.
Solomon Thomas in that bowl game, and I go,
Sun
no
Bowl.
way should either of these guys be a top
Right.
5
No.
pick.
Sun Bowl in El Paso.
That
It's
was like,
what
what
are we
are we
doing?
watching?
And so so I'm thinking number 3 overall. I'm like, man, like I was on Watson because I saw a lot
We all
more
did.
of them.
Yeah, we wanted,
and then, like you said, the Big 12. It could be an arcade game.
Yeah.
It could be 66-60.
Graham Harrell.
You just never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So let's take some more calls here. 888-957-9570. Ask Baldy anything. We got a special rap for you here. Our man Duke in the city.
Duke flows.
He's going to spit some bars for you.
My brother,
Let me hear it, Duke.
my nephew. Good morning, man. Beautiful
Morning to you,
show,
brother.
Baldy, man. We love you, man. I got one little question for you before we get into this 262 reasons. Hey, Baldy, in this day and age, you think you would still be able to play in the NFL? Because the way you sound, it sounds like you can.
No. No. I'm way past that. I might be able to go out there and like give an uppercut to somebody in one play, something like that.
Hey, that'll work too, man. Whatever you got to do to get the job done.
Yeah.
Real quick, y'all, man. It's not pretty as Brock Purdy. He don't mind if he get dirty. Throw the ball kind of sturdy. His release is kind of early. Ask your boy Dranky Law. 9 D is hitting hard. Running back will be this far. Niners leave you with a scar. Our D is ranked the best. Now it's time for us to flex. Hall of Famer Brady next. Body back that we expect. Highway 80 moving fast. Highway 80 moving fast. Highway 80 moving fast. Hold on, y'all. Highway 80 moving fast. Come on, y'all.
Oh, Duke,
That's
Duke,
great, Duke.
it's all good,
That's
Duke.
awesome,
It's
Duke.
a slip up. It's
That's
a
a
walk-off, Duke.
walk-off.
Highway 80
You were killing
moving
it.
fast. Highway 80
That's
moving
great
fast.
stuff, man.
That's it.
Speeding like a demon on 101 South.
What was his line about Purdy and being dirty?
Yeah, Purdy being dirty. Purdy release being early.
We'll cut it up.
Sturdy.
We'll cut it up.
Sturdy.
Yeah,
That
we'll
was
cut
good.
it up.
That was
Wow.
really good.
That was really
Hey,
good.
so on the offensive lineman thing, Bonta and I have a theory, right? We were talking about offensive line play in the NFL. And one of the things that I've been telling him about is like, you're not getting certain things coming out of college. Like you can only draft in the NFL what's coming out. And with all the spread, you're getting a ton of wide receivers.
Go down effect.
Right? You're getting a ton of wide receivers. You're getting a boatload of pass rushers, but you're not getting elite offensive linemen. And it feels like because of the spread, because of everyone playing different positions and not wanting to play on the offensive line, the cohesiveness at the offensive line level, at the NFL level, and the practice and stuff, there's just not enough good linemen like there used to be.
Well, you have to go to certain programs. Alabama's putting out a lot of players. Look at like in my mind, the 2 best tackles in the game are Trent and Lane Johnson. Okay, that's Oklahoma. They were a top 5 program in this country. They were getting elite players, elite athletes. I mean, Lane Johnson's still the fastest offensive lineman ever run a 40.
Wow.
Really?
Like he ran 4.7.
Wow.
Like no lineman has ever. Like he runs faster than most defensive linemen. He's never on the ground. He's always on his feet. He came out. He was a quarterback, tight end, moved up to the offensive line.
That's incredible.
Like just rare athletic ability, and then the right mindset to never want to stop being better.
Right. No, offensive line, I think high school, college.
But there's
they're
only a
the
couple.
2-point.
Like Trent was the 4th player in the draft. Lane was the 3rd player picked in the draft. Okay, you look at Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell's a baller.
He's only 21 years old. Like he still is. Like when he's 26, like there might not be anybody else like him.
So it's program based. So you wouldn't even look at the Pac-12 then.
No.
You may
well,
scout.
Colton Miller, was he UCLA?
Yeah,
he was UCLA. He was
Colton
skinny.
Miller's a good player. Colton's a good player, man. He's underrated. But
Niners drafted McGlinchey ahead of Colton Miller.
Okay. Colton, you question, was he physical enough, all that stuff, but you see the athletic ability. He's playing good football for the Raiders. Yeah. But the Pac-12, there's just not many guys. Ollie Vera-Tucker at USC, there's a handful.
Well, and it just feels like pass rushers and wide receivers are everywhere. And coming out in these drafts, what... Jamar Chase. Think of that. Just look at the Bengals right now. Boyd, Higgins, Chase. They got weapons galore.
Mm-hmm. They got 3. I mean, that was the choice. Take Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase. They took the right guy.
Yep.
Chase is just
so sick.
That guy's. I remember, early last year in his rookie year, I asked him how fast are you? He goes, I don't know. I never ran for a time. Like, he's just as fast as he needs to be. You know?
He's a home run hitter, man.
Just a man-child.
Let's go to Grayson in Livermore. Grayson in Livermore, what's happening? Ask Baldy anything here on the roast.
All right, Baldy, I got the question for you. You're the GM. You're such a good GM that you know you're going to get 15 years out of both of these guys, and there's not going to be any injuries. You're going to be able to build around them. You taking Luck or you taking Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Wow.
Yeah, not even a question. I mean, Andrew Luck was a good player, really smart guy, and loved him coming out of Stanford.
How good could he have been if he stuck around?
Well, I mean, if you said, well, you know, he had the injuries now.
I mean, yeah, lacerated spleen. Yeah, he almost died.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, and they didn't like. He didn't know it. Like you know, his stomach is like distending, like with blood. Like, he doesn't know like what's going on. I feel like, you know, he had the size, the tangibles, but Mahomes just has a whole nother level to him. Just like I just feel like if we're going to go play croquet and you're choosing a croquet side, I'm taking him in croquet.
Well, I think he'd be great in tennis. I think he'd be great in baseball. He'd be great in basketball.
He was good at basketball.
But you can feel
great,
it. But B, when you watch him in the pocket, the way he's dancing, there's a whole feel to it.
Like Cliff Kingsbury told me, like when the first time he ever saw him play anything was in a state championship but state playoff basketball game.
Really?
And he was Steph. Like he's draining these threes, you know, like, you know, and that's going to be his quarterback. Like his thing about just, you know, they always say, you know, is he a gym rat?
Yeah.
He's a gym rat. You know, like he just can't stop absorbing. Like he can't stop competing. But it's just like, you know, like if you're watching World Cup now, so there's certain countries where it's just, you know, Brazil, let's say,
right?
Like you learn to play on the street, you know, in
Rio or somewhere, yeah.
You know, like you just have this freelance style to you.
Yeah.
You didn't go to, you know, the quarterback camps,
right.
and you didn't get programmed.
It's like Willie Mays back in the day.
It's just there's just a freelance to him. He hasn't been programmed where you got to throw it like this. You got to put your feet here.
Yeah, not robotic.
Like, he doesn't have any of that. He has this childlike feel that never gets old and is real. And then his ability to see the whole field, to pull the ball down, and seemingly never, ever really get hit.
But if I put him, this is fascinating to me. I put him in Jacksonville last year with Urban Meyer. I put Trevor Lawrence in Kansas City. We all believe Trevor would be better, right?
I do.
What would Patrick be? I don't even know.
DJ Chark probably gets 70 catches. Like, he'd find him. He's just like he's finding him right now.
Gotcha.
Like, whether it's MVS.
Right.
Or
Juju.
Juju, like, I mean, Juju, he couldn't get balls in Pittsburgh.
I thought he was done.
Like, we all thought he was done.
Yeah, we did.
You know, but like, look at Juju now. Like, he's that's when they said, well, they're going to lose Tyreek Hill. Like everybody, like not everybody, but like, you know, the analysts were saying,
me and B
like,
were
he's
like,
going to go
we're
backward.
Kansas
Like Kansas City's going back. I'm like,
but
you don't understand Mahomes.
Yeah, not only Mahomes, but you also don't understand Andy Reid.
And Kelsey.
Right. Andy Reid has found talent wherever he's gone, wherever he's been. Philadelphia, I mean, we know the history there with the NFC Championship games. There was Super Bowl appearance. He was doing it with James Strass and Todd Peakson. I'm not trying to slander them, but that's Andy Reid. And then Alex Smith had his best years under him, and then he gets Mahomes, and it's like, oh, let me unlock this. Let me run this old school formation in the Super Bowl with four guys in the backfield.
Nobody has, like, you just watch any Kansas City Chief game. Does anybody have more creativity or innovation when you get to the 5-yard line?
No.
Whether this is shovel pass, formations, like nobody comes up with things.
I watched Mecole Hardman come flying across the line like 3 times in that game?
3 times, same play.
And I go, you got to be kidding me.
Like I remember asking Freddie Warner about it. Like, I mean, to me, like San Francisco is the best defense, but like maybe Kansas City is the team that just knows how to beat them.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I mean, it's only one game, but they put up 42.
We couldn't stop them for 3.5 quarters.
No, I know. You know, and they ran the same, you know, fly sweep to Mecole Hardman. And like, why can't the 49ers stop that?
Right now, is that your Super Bowl team? Kansas City?
Yes.
Is that the team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because defensively, like, you know, they've got like basically 5 or 6 rookies playing on defense. So just let those guys.
Chris Jones, though.
Chris Jones is a difference maker inside, but let Karlaftis keep going. You know, let these guys just keep playing. And let Spags keep, like, figuring out what they do, what they don't do. The L'Jarius Sneed's got speed. They like to blitz. I'm like, just let that team just keep playing.
So then how does Cincinnati keep beating them?
Well, I mean, they got the ball out of Travis Kelce's hands in a big spot.
Yeah.
Okay, and they kept the score down, which is really important. They played really good red zone defense. But if you play him again, it doesn't just because they beat him 3 times doesn't mean it's going to be 4 times.
I know. It feels like a Brady Manning kind of a new version for the NFL, and I'm here for it.
And Cincinnati's talking that talk too.
But that's fine. But I would say that if they were on a collision course for the playoffs, and they said, okay, what do you think? I'd still take Kansas City. Now maybe Cincinnati wins, and maybe I'm shortchanging them, but I would still take Kansas City.
Here's the best text of all time. All the quarterbacks in the world, Brady, Mahomes, Montana, pick whoever you want. Final drive, all the personnel is the same, coaching's the same. Who you taking?
Well, I mean, Joe Montana did it in the biggest spot, against Cincinnati. Like, he took him on the drive. So it'd be hard for me to go against Montana.
After watching the Joe Montana documentary on Peacock, I'm taking Joe over it. I still taking Joe over Brady. And it sounds, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm a hotel guy.
I'd say
but
this. The one thing about Joe,
everywhere.
Like, you think about that loss to the Giants in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When
Leonard Marshall
separated him.
Like, they don't hit like that anymore. No. Like, so Joe took those hits.
Jim Burt almost killed him, put him in the hospital.
The Meadowlands.
But so remember the hit that Tua took last week?
Yes.
Like, that was about as nasty as it gets, right? In today's game. Like, that's how Joe was hit in all those playoff
Second quarter. The Philadelphia game, the famous one where he came back, multiple
4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter.
Were you on that team, Baldy?
Huh?
Were you on that team in Philly, or are you still in Dallas?
No, I came the next year.
88 or 89.
88 at the vet. They scored 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter after he was sacked like 9 or 10 times.
Yeah, he got crushed. I mean, Jerome Brown, all the guys that you know. Ridiculous. Eric Allen. The team was so good.
By the way, it's a Football Friday sponsored by the Jim Irsay Collection at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium on December 10th. For free tickets, visit JimIrsayCollection.com. Let's take this last call. We got a couple more questions here on the text line. Xfinity Mobile text line. Steve in Santa Rosa. Steve, what's happening? Ask Baldy anything.
Yeah, I want to first say to Baldy, diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. Now let's move on to football. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team. Randy White, the manster.
Yes.
Big bad Randy White got taken to school by John Ayers in the championship game, and that's all I want to say. The Randy White Manster got owned by Ayers.
Yeah, 81 championship game. Everson Walls is still like the poster boy, unfortunately, for that throw. I think Randy actually came out of that game with cramps, like dehydration.
Yeah.
I just remember too tall, charging Joe as Joe's backing up, and he's finding Dwight in the corner of the end zone, for the play that basically rebuilt this whole franchise.
And Baldy, I've gone down this list. There's a great book that I've read on it. He turned the ball over, Joe did 3 times that day.
Yes.
No one remembers that.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's just, there's so many things.
They don't remember Eric Wright barely hanging on to Drew Pearson for a horse collar tackle.
Yep.
He would have gone to the house.
Yeah.
And the running back,
Tony Dorsett
hurts his shoulder in the first quarter, gets a separated shoulder in the first quarter. He was one of the top
preeminent
MVPs
running backs in the league.
Yeah. Why do we forget about him?
Tony?
Yeah.
I just saw him the other night. I don't know. I mean, that guy, he won the Heisman. Then he comes in his first year in Dallas, and they go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I mean, he's just like Dorsett was. He was all-time leading rusher in college with over 6,000 yards till somebody just, they took it over. I mean, he was just like, I never saw Tony ever hurt. And he went to Denver in his 11th year, and he tore his Achilles, I think, like in training camp or something. I watched him play 10 years. Now, you think about this. He's 190 pounds, Aliquippa, all that stuff. I never saw him hurt in 10 years.
Wow.
Some
guys are just built that way, huh?
You go out there, you talk about your little hammer curls.
Right.
I saw him lift a little bit like that. Put rocks in his pocket when he came out of pit to, make him look like he was heavier than he was. All those tricks. That guy was about as tough as they come.
Do you think that we miss, just in general, kids in sports, playing 3 sports? Like Mahomes played multiple sports. I'm watching, and I got a niece who's a great basketball player, and like, oh, you got to play your end. I'm like, no, play as many sports as possible. To shut your brain down from some of the specialization, and it just makes you a more well-rounded player.
I talked to Roger Staubach the other night. So I'm a football player. At the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
He played not only 4 years of football.
Yeah.
He played on the basketball team 2 years, and he played baseball all 4 years.
Wow.
At the Naval Academy.
That's what made him such a great athlete, huh?
But like that, I always say, like, guys that, like, you look at these defensive backs, and you're like, they can't catch the ball, they can't track the ball. Like, they didn't play baseball.
Right. Yes.
You give me a guy that played baseball, and I'll show you a guy that can track a football.
Where'd you play baseball position?
I played baseball. I mean, I played third base. I played shortstop. I played the outfield.
Could you
I
imagine?
played everything. He played basketball.
Him at
Baldy's
third
a
base,
three-sport
me trying to
star.
hit one
I
down
played
the
on the
line.
tennis
Three-sport
team.
star.
Played tennis.
You played tennis?
I played on the tennis
Oh,
team
I love
2
that.
years in
I
high
love
school.
that.
Johnny McEnroe,
Yeah.
Baldy?
I mean, that was my favorite tennis player of all time.
Man, I love tennis. My bucket list is to go to U.S. Open, Wimbledon. I love tennis. Spadoni.
You do love
That's
tennis.
actually my guy,
You do love
Spadoni, right here on the
tennis.
board.
Yeah.
We were texting. U.S. Open was electric.
I went to all
this
those
past
events.
season.
I went to Wimbledon. I went to
Roland
Garros. I was
Wow.
there. I've been to U.S. Open. I mean, I've been to all of them.
Federer retiring, one of the saddest moments of the year, actually.
I mean, just a star athlete.
Unbelievable. A couple more questions here on our Xfinity mobile text line before we get out and flex. Deion Sanders, our 9 o'clock audience, or 8 o'clock audience. What about Deion in Colorado?
Big fan. He'll turn that. We were saying this before we started today.
Yeah.
That program has been as irrelevant as any Division I program in college football. Like Deion just put it, like they just sold more jerseys, Colorado jerseys, in the last week since he's got signed than they have in the last 3 years combined.
Since Cordell Stewart through the Hail Mary in Michigan.
Season tickets, so there's a buzz. Like he's big on social media.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Like his kids will all be there.
Kid's quarterbacking.
Is this kid a good quarterback? You like
Kid's
this
a good quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kid could play. That's what they say.
I watched him at Jackson
Yeah,
State.
they
I
say
don't know
he
if it
can
can
play.
translate.
But look, Prime could be stealing money over at the NFL Network, doing
Right.
Like he wants to make a difference in his world.
Yeah.
And so these kids, to him, it's about messaging every single day. Degrees are important. How you dress, how you prepare yourself, like how you present yourself. Like he's getting these kids prepared for manhood. It's more than winning football games.
No
like
doubt.
I take my hat off to Prime.
Yep. Last question of the day, 707, Xfinity mobile text line. Would Brady last as long in the NFL as he is if he was playing in the days of Joe Montana?
No. I remember 1984, I'm in Dallas, we played the Dolphins on the final game of the season at the Orange Bowl. And if we win, we're in the playoffs. We lose, we're the first time out of the playoffs for the Cowboys in 16 years.
Wow.
So Dan Marino's a quarterback. It's his MVP year, 48 touchdowns in 84. Like Randy White, Too Tall Jones, they are tattooing Dan Marino, like just tattooing him. And like with 2.5 minutes to go in the game, he hit Stupor on a 60-yarder.
Wow.
To win 28-21. Like Dan Marino was as tough as they come. Like the quarterbacks, there was no protection for these guys.
No.
There wasn't any.
He was one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yes.
Yeah, he was
We're
one of
gonna
my
get in
favorite
trouble.
quarterbacks.
Flex.
Okay, let's flex.
Like you question it.
Does Jimmy have it?
Well, like you only look at two games, right? You look at the Rams game last year, winning in the fourth quarter, doesn't finish it out. Super Bowl game. You're up 10 points in the fourth quarter, you can't finish it out. Is that Kyle? Because that sort of has traveled with Kyle.
I felt like it was a
Or is
little
that
bit
the quarterback?
both. Yeah.
Is that a little bit of both? Because so much of the quarterback's success is tied to your play caller, whether it's the head coach or the offense coordinator. And they've got to be in lockstep. And you go, the great one, like, does Dak have it? Like, you question, like, does he have it? I don't think he does. But you got to see it. You only can see it. Like, they questioned Peyton if he had it until he started winning in the postseason.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's just the reality.
The Flex of the Show, presented by Xfinity Flex, the 4K streaming TV box with voice remote and Peacock Premium, free with Xfinity Internet.
That was a lot of fun, folks. Willard and Dibs coming up next. Baldy, thank you so much for joining us,
That
man.
was a lot of fun,
This is
guys.
yearly fun.
Yep.
Nah, we'll do it again next year. We can come back out to the Bay Area. Heck, you may call a playoff game out here, and you will do it again. Baldy, everybody give a round of applause
Hell
to Brian
yeah.
Baldinger
Thank you.
coming in on the roast. Thanks to all the roasters for all the great questions. YouTube, Twitch, Xfinity mobile text line. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.